every single day. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now college football Hall of Fame Longhorn, Derek Johnson said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But of course, he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rod Babels.
I appreciate that intro as always. Let's not waste any time introducing what has to be the hardest working man right now on the show, my man Jack, who is right now indispensable and wins the real MVP award for the week because Patrick is on vacation where my man Harge is about to go. We couldn't make this thing go without Jack, so we appreciate him. What's going on, Jack? How you doing, brother?
I am feeling great. My Rockets cleaned up last night. I was going crazy at my house.
And I love that he's representing with the Love You Blue Houston Oilers shirt on.
And his Astros hat. I mean, he's got it all H-Towned out for you, Rod.
Well done there, brother.
Yeah.
That Oilers, that's sweet. I love that. Love to see the Love You Blue anytime I get a chance. Anytime I get a Love You Blue fan. They're rare, especially in these parts. So I appreciate. And Jack, you're a little young for it too.
I don't think the Oilers existed when I was
okay.
at any point in my life.
We'll appreciate the loyalty either way. All right, don't worry about it. A lot of people didn't see Michael Jordan. They still know who the GOAT. All right, they didn't see him play. They still know who the GOAT. That's already. All right, you can be a part of the show. Specs text line's the best way to do it. 512-337-3776. Remember, Harge is going on vacation next week, so you can wish Harge a happy vacation. He's only a long extended one too because we actually get the 4th of July, the start of the 4th of July week off. It's on a Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah,
so we get the Monday off and the Tuesday off. So Harge, whether it was serendipity or he's just a very brilliant man, he found a way.
I think it was definitely serendipity.
To sync up his vacation with, just so happened to be coinky dink. That it also lines up with the vacation that we were going to get off 4th of July. So you get 7 shows off.
I did not realize that.
7 shows, 2 weekends and 7 shows off.
You and I were walking out yesterday, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, Harge. That's the way to do it. And apparently, you ain't the only one. Zay decided to do it this way.
I did not realize
Bucky
it.
That's decided to do it this way as well, I believe. And Craig Way. Out of all y'all, Craig Way, he's
the one that deserves it the most.
He does deserve, but he does. I believe it's the same time of year every year. For because of his schedule, because of the seasons and him being the voice of the Longhorns, it has to line up. He has this perfect sweet spot on the schedule where he can take his vacations, and I believe it's been this time of year, 2 weeks. For the last, you can ask Craig. It probably goes back
35. He said 35.
35 years.
He said this has been my time for the last 35 years.
I know. And since I've worked with him, it's always been his time. So he's consistent. He did not try to line it up and sync it up like y'all did with that 4th of July vacation.
Mine just happened to work out because my son's playing in national championship competition, and it was like, okay, this is the time. And then we got the email about everything else, and I was like, wait a minute.
Hey, man.
Your boy got it worked out.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
I'm not. I'm here.
Still, and what's the origin of the gift horse in the mouth?
We don't know.
I believe someone said that if you were given a horse back in the Old West, that sometimes to check the health of the horse, they would examine its teeth. And then they would check out its mouth. The oral health of the mouth would lead to you having, some kind of diagnosis about the horse. So when somebody gives you a horse, a gift horse anyway, don't be checking out, the mouth.
Never knew.
Just trying to see oh man, you trying to give me some shoddy horse here?
Yeah.
Trying to give me some old, some old trash horse here?
Right, that's what it sounds like.
Some horse that's going to be glue in a minute?
That's why they told you don't look it in the mouth.
Is the horse glue thing real as well?
I believe that is 100% true.
Yeah, they grind the hooves into glue.
Interesting.
But that's a good saying. Imagine being the guy that gets a horse for free, and then you're like, man, this horse sucks. That's not cool. Someone gave you a horse. That's like getting a car.
No, exactly. Back in the Old West,
but the car sucks.
Bro, who's just giving out horses?
If someone
They don't
gave me a
give you
Kia
horse.
Soul, I wouldn't be like, it's a Kia Soul, though. I'd be
Right.
like, it's free
You-
Kia.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
would start like
free
looking
Kia.
under the hood immediately and be like, man, you know, no, don't know about this. What's a trade-in value? You take that Kia Soul
What
and you
is
roll
my
it.
value?
Proud, man.
I love
you proud of that Kia Soul. All right, no Kia Souls for these guys who were drafted in the NBA draft.
No way.
Well, they may buy one of their kids or some, some cousin or something. They buy some kinfolk.
Dog, you said you was going to give me a car. I didn't tell you what kind of
They
car.
tell you what kind of car. Hey, you know what? You better take it. Don't
better-
don't look that gift horse in the mouth to bring it full circle. Don't do that. All right, let's start with the Spurs, gentlemen, because it's the easiest place to start, and then we'll work our way through the rest of the draft, especially with the Texas teams. First time in the history of the NBA draft that all three Texas teams were drafting in the lottery,
Yep.
because it's the first time that all three of them missed the playoffs.
Did not make the playoffs, correct.
So that doesn't happen usually. So the first time you had them all drafting in the lottery. So a lot of excitement brewing for all the Texas teams and all their fandoms. The San Antonio Spurs, there was no mystery, gentlemen. You're talking about Victor Wembanyama as the number one overall pick. We do have an interview of him with Taylor Rooks, I believe it is. So here is him immediately after the draft pick sitting down with Taylor Rooks. Damn, I love that they put generosity in there. That was nice.
He's smart,
There was a
man.
lot of words that I would, that you could use to, that to answer that question that they're out there. And he wanted to be known for, after winning, he said, winning, of course, we'll be known for winning because I'm a basketball player, but generosity.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
he is. Man, it seems like y'all got a damn good one, Spurs fans. So I'm happy for y'all.
I couldn't agree
Seems
more.
like a generation. You're right. Even as a soul, as a character of
Yes.
a person, he does seem to be well grounded, considering all of the attention he's gotten for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, he said he's been working for this. He's been putting his time in, all the training. And even though he knew he was going to be the number one overall pick, when he finally heard his name, you can see the emotion coming over him, his family, like you said, the hard work that they put into this. But the way that he carries himself, the maturity that he shows already, it's something that is totally different when you go back and look at some of the other people that were drafted number one. And one of those being Tim Duncan. He's a quiet superstar. He doesn't say much. He never did. This Wembanyama, he already has a great personality. And marketing, those people that are sitting there getting ready to have their stuff sponsored by him, he is endorsed by him. He is going to be a great, great ambassador for whatever brand. HEB is already about to jump on them. Because how many times have we seen the commercials with all the San Antonio Spurs players? He's about to be on one of those commercials for real.
Yeah, they asked him what's the one thing he was first looking forward to when he moves to San Antonio, and he said, I got to try these breakfast tacos.
Oh, yeah.
So he's already, He's already understand. He's speaking the language already.
He's there for the
The
people.
cultural language. Breakfast tacos? Oh, yeah.
Charles Barkley would have told him to go get some churros.
No, you can find some damn good breakfast tacos in San Antonio.
No doubt.
Here's Victor Wembanyama. He was on Scott Van Pelt, also right after he was drafted. And he was asked what does it mean for him to be drafted by the Spurs, and what does it mean to be a San Antonio Spur? Here is Wemby. Also, the Spurs got an all-French haul pretty much in the draft.
Right.
After Victor Wembanyama, they drafted Sidi. Is it Kisoko or is it Sissoko?
I'm gonna go with what you said. The first one.
It's Cissoko, and I'm
Sissoko.
I assume it is,
Yeah,
but
Sissoko.
I'm not exactly.
And we'll
sure.
apologize if we're mispronouncing it.
Yes. And he's also a French player. He was playing in the G League though for Ignite. But he's is a good player. And the French connection. By the way, I found this little stat out while I was doing some research. There have been more NBA players from France than any other country outside of North America. Isn't that crazy? More NBA players from France than any other country outside of North America. And then what country do you think has probably has a better pipeline than any other NBA team to France? It would be now probably officially.
It's 100% official.
The San Antonio Spurs, who've had, I think Victor and this other young man will probably be like the 7th French player they've had on their team.
Yeah.
And San Antonio is really young. Matter of fact, this year they had 2 French players who were drafted really high. The Pacers actually drafted Bilal Coulibaly. I believe that's how you pronounce his name.
Yep.
And for the second straight year, there were at least 4 French players drafted in the draft.
I mean, David Stern wanted this to happen, right? He always wanted to be international. Now there's a pipeline, like you said, out of France. Think about all the Serbian basketball players that have now been drafted into the NBA and now becoming MVPs. So you can go back and look at when did this start happening? How did this start happening? And David Stern's thought of making it a global game, it has truly become global. Yeah, and
the beauty of it for the Spurs is, for Victor Wembanyama, who grew up as a Spurs fan, because that pipeline to France, they have a huge fan base over in France because Tony Parker and Boris Diaw and some of the other players that you don't really have to worry about him looking at glamour markets in the U.S. as, oh no, I would want to go play in a bigger market like New York or L.A. or go to Miami or go to a bigger more glorified and glamorized market, because he loves San Antonio that much. It's like his dream destination. So it is the antithesis of the paranoia and I think the anxiety you had to worry about with a guy like Kawhi Leonard, which was constantly, man, does he want to go back to the West Coast? Does he think that San Antonio is good enough for him? Does he want out? And ultimately he did.
Yep.
But now you got a superstar that you don't have to worry about that with. All right. So getting back to the Rockets, since we are done with the Spurs, talk about the Rockets, who I think honestly had an incredible draft. I mean, there's an argument to be made, and my man Jack was really excited about it, and he's not the only Rockets fan that's excited about it. There's an argument to be made that outside of the Spurs, who obviously won the NBA draft by getting the best prospect since LeBron James, that the Rockets may have acquired the most value in this NBA draft if the Cam Whitmore draft pick works out. They ended up getting Amen Thompson, that number 4 overall pick, which is exactly what Jack wanted.
Yep.
Shout out to Jack. You spoke it into existence, brother. Jack's like, hey, I want Amen. Done deal. That's exactly what they got. Uber athletic guy. We'll get into that. But they also got Cam Whitmore as well, Indy, with the 20th pick. This is a player that's a lot of people were saying was going to end up being a lottery pick. There was some negative medical evals and some negative overall evals from the private workout sessions that apparently tanked his draft stock. And it tanked it so bad that the Rockets got him at 20. The Rockets reportedly were going to move up to try to go get him because they assumed when he started dropping that, oh, man, some team is going to get him. But they said basically once he started dropping in the late teens, they figured, man, he might drop all the way to us. Maybe we should just be patient. And Jack, it worked out for him. Cam Whitmore. So to me, that's a lot of value, man. Unbelievable.
I did not see a mock draft with Cam Whitmore below 9.
Okay.
I mean, there was discussion last week that the Rockets were looking at Cam Whitmore at 4. They liked him that much. His medical, I mean, in his interviews, he said, I don't know what teams are seeing with my medical. Obviously, he's going to say that, but he seemed awfully confused. He missed, I think, 8 games his entire freshman year, and 7 of those were the first 7 games of the year with a thumb injury. That's not one of those, it's not a foot, it's not a knee, it's not a shoulder or something like that. So I get a slide. I get maybe him going to 9, 10 late lottery, but
20.
All the way down to 20.
That's
the Rockets wanted him at 4. There was talk he would be the 5th or 6th pick.
Right.
It's one of those things, I guess, when a few teams were hesitant and then teams started getting scared. And then everybody was like, well, you know what? He's persona non grata. I'm not touching him. If that team won't touch him, I'm not going to touch him. I can't. I'm with you, Jack. I don't know what happened. Well, now I'm kind of I love it as a Rockets fan, but I'm also a little, now I wonder what was the reason for the draft stock tanking to that extent.
Well, I'm going to tell you why, because Jonathan Givony has been on TV and he's been writing a bunch of articles. From what he was hearing, there was something in his knee as far as cartilage was concerned. And the biggest part about it is, from what everybody else is seeing in the medical, is something that wouldn't affect him until later in his career. And that's the other part. But from what you were talking about earlier about the laziness in the workouts, didn't seem like he truly was engaged in the workout. But when you watch him on film, it's like that dude's a hooper. That's what he does. He just plays basketball. And for him to fall to the Rockets, I know that Ime Udoka is probably licking his chops right now of thinking about how he can use this guy. And then you got the young player that you got at number 4.
Amen Thompson.
Yeah, Amen Thompson. So yesterday you were asking the question about has it ever happened? It has never happened where they've gone 1 in the top 10 in the same draft.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, LaMelo Ball and LiAngelo Ball, they both got drafted Lonzo Ball got drafted top 3 picks. So the Ball brothers have done it. Other brothers have done it, but never in the same draft. Yeah. And I think the only people that have ever done it were the hockey brothers, the Sinden brothers, were the only ones in other major sports that could go that high back-to-back in the draft. So it was an impressive night last night, but going back to Whitmore, it was because they said that he has cartilage that they're still questioning throughout that. Still worked out for the Rockets.
But if it ends up being
it's a steal.
If it ends up being something that affects him later on, then the Rockets can justify it because you're not drafting him high.
Yep.
If you're drafting him high, then you'd be like, well, this is a guy we're planning on building being a franchise foundational piece. We can't do that if he's going to have, a negative or a weak medical evaluation. But if you're drafting him at 20, it's much easier to justify. Oh, no, we can take that guy. Because you're not drafting him with your high draft capital that's outside the lottery. So I guess maybe, and it's still, there were plenty of teams outside the lottery that probably should have rolled the dice or could have rolled the dice. They didn't want to do it. So I like what the Rockets did. I thought that was a great way for them to kind of upgrade overall just the young core of the roster with a guy that some people evaluated overall as a lottery pick, a foundational piece, but because of the medical, overall evaluations, he decides it dropped out, made him risky, risky prospect.
Random nugget here, not in the super high top of the draft, but with the Thompson twins going back to back, I do believe Marcus and Markieff Morris went back to back, but they were like the 13th, 14th pick in the 2012 draft. So we have seen in the NBA in relative recent history, brothers going back-to-back in draft, twin brothers going back-to-back.
Yeah, the Lopez brothers went 10 and 15 in 2008. Horace and Harvey Grant went 10 and 12.
Yep.
And just my man Jack mentioned, you get Markieff back-to-back. So, first time in the top 10.
Top 5.
With Amen. Yeah, I mean, that's really unbelievable. Top 5.
Right.
Amen. And is it Asur?
Yeah, Asur.
So they're really impressive. But Amen Thompson, and Jack told you this yesterday, and they kept repeating it in terms of the analysis when he was drafted. He doesn't really have an outside shot, doesn't shoot really well, but he is a blur of athleticism. I mean, you're talking about just twitchy, has freakish body control, explosive, and can, defend, great lateral movement, ball pressure. I mean, pretty much can do anything you ask him to do except shoot.
Yeah. Yep.
So you got to teach him how to shoot, or he'll just be one of those guys that can, live on the fact that he can penetrate. But it makes him easier to defend because a lot of teams just sag off of him and decide, all right, beat us with your shot.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to let you get to the rim because that's your elite quality. His first step is explosive.
Very. And if you go back and watch some of those videos of their pre-draft, but a lot of people are questioning the competition. But when you watch those guys play, you're like, oh, yeah, you can tell that they were head and shoulders above their other peers. But it's just like high school now. All these high school kids coming up pretty soon, you can be 18 years old and be drafted now. It's going to go back to no more of that one and done kind of stuff anymore. If you're 18, you're going to be eligible for the draft. So I'm looking at it as saying this is the upside that you're looking at. Yes, these kids are young. They played in some different competition, but the upside is what you're banking on. And what better way to teach these young players, kind of like what we've seen with Pop and them, when they send them to Austin, they get that constant training. They're learning the NBA, but they're also working on their skills. I'll never forget, I got a chance to watch Lonnie Walker play here, and I was amazed at how athletically freakish he was. And I saw him score 25 points in like 4 minutes. And I'm like, why is this dude down here? And then you go up to the NBA, and his game is a little bit different, but they wanted him to stay aggressive. So that's the learning curve of how these guys are going to get better and what we're expecting to see them do at the next level. I firmly believe that Amen Thompson is going to be playing for the Rio Grande Valley Vipers early in his stint before he's back up in the NBA.
Yeah, for those who are unfamiliar, the Thompson twins went to the Overtime Elite Basketball League. It's a pro basketball league based in Atlanta. That's basically another option, other than before you can go pro, other than going to college or going overseas. So they did basketball only in this basketball league, this Overtime Elite Basketball League. And they get paid. I think you get paid at least $100,000, but it depends on what your status is. The first year, the Twins played on different Overtime Elite teams. This past season, they played on the same team. And I think Asur is the one that won MVP of that league. But you're right; it's just another option until they decide to go pro. Instead of going to college, they don't want to. Nobody wants to play school.
Don't have to now.
They don't want to play school. Also, Dallas Mavs, gentlemen, had, I thought, a really good draft too.
Very good draft.
Yeah, they really did. Basically, it was a very active draft for the Mavs too. So they did trade down. Remember, we said there was almost a guarantee they were going to trade down. They traded down to number 12. And they still end up getting Derek Lively, a big man, the center out of Duke, at a lower slot, so they got better value there. Then they used their trade exception that they'd opened up because they traded Bertans as a part of that deal. Davis Bertans as a part of that deal. So
that's huge.
That's
a bad salary on Davis Bertans.
They dumped some salary there.
He's a good shooter.
He's a good shooter. They dumped some salary there. Then they used that trade exception that they opened up with that salary dump in a trade. And they got, is it Richaun Holmes?
Yeah, Richaun Holmes out of Sacramento.
Holmes as a part of that. And then with the 24th pick, they got Olivier Maxence Prosper.
Yep, out of Marquette.
Yeah. Shaka.
That's right. Shaka Smart. Got somebody in the draft.
I'm a big Richaun Holmes guy. I've wanted him in Houston for years when Harden was there even. He kind of got lost in the shuffle, got pushed to the back of the bench. They had a pretty decent big man room this year, but he's a great PNR big for Luka. That'll be great for Luka.
Nice.
Because I don't think that kid out of Duke, I don't think he'll be day one ready, to fully contribute like that. He's a good lob threat. Defensively, there are issues, but on the offensive end, Richaun Holmes is a great get for the Dallas Mavericks. They answered their issue. They got two bigs in one fell swoop.
Yeah, you still got to get rid of Dwight Powell first. So that's something that needs to happen first. They need to get rid of him. So I was sitting with a season ticket holder. He was at my house last night, a season ticket holder to the Mavericks. He said, I just want them to get a big so we can get rid of Dwight Powell. Like, I said, what? He said, I cannot stand him. I'm like, I knew we were people. I knew you were my people.
Harge is a Dwight Powell hater, Jack, in case you didn't know.
Big time. And he said the reason why he continues to play is because his basketball IQ is so off the charts that they like you can't get rid of him. I was like, he's not contributing. He's not contributing. I'm like trying to figure this out. But they did get that 7'2" Derek Lively out of Duke. So this is going to be something, too. Got a huge wingspan. They said when he's standing, he's got a 9'4" reach. I mean, come on, man. The goal is, what, 10 feet?
Yeah, he's got I think his wingspan is 7'7".
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
7'7" wingspan. Freakish.
He can stand up and reach and almost touch the rim.
They needed big men, and they got two of them in that exchange. So give it up for the Mavs. The Mavs got a lot of value, too, in that pick. And I don't know, you like Maxence Prosper? I love his name. Olivier Maxence Prosper.
Maxence Prosper.
Sounds like something from Roman times or something. I love it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? He has a, how about this? He's got a 7'1" wingspan.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's pretty freakish.
And he's 6'8".
Some people have compared him. Some people have compared him to PJ Tucker. That he's kind of a PJ Tucker starter.
Then you're gonna win with that because he's gonna come out there and he's gonna work hard and give you everything that he's got because he's trying to figure out how do I stay in this league. A lot of these guys are getting in it. You got to figure out how you stay.
Getting back to Jack's point about the Mavs addressing needs, or they need a 3-and-D guy. Maybe their hope is that he can be a 3-and-D guy down the line, develop him to be a 3-and-D guy. His three-point percentage is not great. I think it was around 34%, but it actually rose. It was before his junior year, it was at 28%. So he's improving. Maybe they see something about being able to develop a guy into being kind of a 3-and-D guy for him.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Yeah. I didn't love the pick there for that value. I think it was a 24th pick. I feel like they could have traded down. But, I mean, if that's your guy and you have a pick, then, I mean, that's a philosophy. You just go ahead and take him, even if you maybe could have gotten some more out of it.
Well, if they were trading for that was something that was already part of the pick anyway because it was already
got that pick
traded.
For free.
Yeah, it was a free pick, so go ahead and get what you want because that's not what you were expecting anyway.
That's a good point.
It's that value that you're looking for too because – yeah, he's a first rounder, but you can take your time with him because of that.
I agree, and I think they may be projecting like, "Hey, man, maybe this guy can be a nice 3-and-D guy for us down the line." Okay, real quick, because the Texas Longhorns actually, there's some good news about these guys too. So Soulja Rice signs a two-way contract with the Spurs.
Yep.
How about that?
So he's on the team. The two-way, he'll be spending time in Austin and in San Antonio, but he is on the Spurs roster.
Yep.
That's fantastic news for him. That comes from Adrian Wojnarowski. So also, undrafted free agent deals were signed by Marcus Carr and Timmy Allen. Looks like Marcus Carr is going to be with one of the summer league teams. Carr will be joining the Phoenix Suns and Timmy Allen with the Memphis Grizzlies, but for their summer league team. So best of luck to those guys too.
Yep,
you got to show up out there.
I mean, that's it, man.
The beauty of the summer league is it's an easy evaluation because you'll be playing up against some of what they consider to be elite prospects who just, obviously need fine-tuning and they need the reps.
And if you're playing well enough to be seen by others, that is your opportunity to be picked up by another team during that point. Because I had a buddy of mine whose son played for, I want to say Phoenix, and he ended up signing with Charlotte.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because he went out there and he played well. Other people saw him, and they were like, well, you're not going to make this team, but this other team just called and wants you to come there. So he had a two-way with the Charlotte Hornets. So
nice.
It happens.
I wonder where – I'm trying to figure out where they're where some of these other teams is like summer leagues.
There's summer leagues in Utah, California, and Las Vegas.
Okay.
So
I like
that's
Carr
where
in
they're
Phoenix
all playing.
too.
Yeah.
They need. I mean, we know their backcourt: Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. They need a guy who can
Actually
doesn't need the ball
basketball
in his hands at all times.
Yep.
He can shoot on a catch and shoot capacity, and he's also a very good defender. So if Marcus Carr plays well, and he's played very well in his international career for Canada, I think Marcus Carr, there's an outside shot that he gets like a training camp invite or something.
He's got to play good
league.
defense. He's got to play good defense because if you're not that guy,
They don't need more bucket getters.
they don't need no more buckets. You got to play defense.
Well, that's the NBA now, right? The NBA it used to be flipped when we were growing up. I'm sorry, Jack. You're a little bit younger. But we were growing up, the old NBA was everybody played defense, and a guy that could get a bucket, that was a guy that was really valuable because everybody could play defense. It was kind of a hardcore defensive, kind of gritty blue-collar league. And now it's flipped. Everybody can play offense. Everybody can score. It's rare you get an actual two-way player that can do both.
Yeah, no doubt.
And yeah, you're right. He's got to prove that he can play some defense. How long are these summer league sessions do they have to
They're probably like
impress?
20 games. 20 games. And they play a lot, too. I mean, they play a lot back-to-back, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So best of luck to those guys. But, yeah, Serge Ibaka, you can go see him play.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing for the Austin Spurs. You can see him play.
I
And
put
he
in
doesn't
a
have to
call in
move.
last night.
Yeah.
I put a call in last night.
Oh,
I
did
was trying
you?
to get some season tickets over at
Hey.
the Austin Spurs just because of the fact that they run them back and forth and you never know when
They'll call
that
you up.
player will be there.
Yeah, yeah.
So Wemby could be here in Austin and we wouldn't know until like 5 minutes before the game.
Man, that'd be awesome.
You know what I'm saying? So they keep that on the low.
It's going to be hard to keep that on the low. It's going to be a Wemby tracker out there.
That's why I'm getting them season tickets. So no matter
all
what,
you need
we
is
in there.
You need somebody at the at the facility to tell you to text you, hey, Wemby's here.
Wemby's
That's all
on
I need
his
to
rack.
know. I'll
That's
be
it.
there in 15.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
We're going to do it.
All right, I like that. All right, we come back. We'll get into Rob Manfred. See, just when I've been trying to get
Yeah, you
hard
have.
to give Rob Manfred props for months now,
Can't do
and
it.
I think I was very close to convincing him to give Rob Manfred
were.
props.
You were.
And then he goes and opens his mouth. We will talk about Rob
You know
Manfred
when people are lying? They talking.
stating his regret about
Yeah.
the way he handled the Astros scandal. All that
Terrible.
and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, Wonderful Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is 512 Friday edition of Ball Don't Lie. And that's when Jack takes jams from local bands and artists, very talented human beings that you have a chance to catch live right here in the ATX. Who are we jamming right now, Jack?
This is Otis Wilkins, and you can see him tonight at the Far Out Lounge. This song is called Joni Mitchell Was Punk.
Oh, I like it. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Joni Mitchell was punk. Okay. Is it a dedication to Joni Mitchell, I'm assuming?
I'm not sure. I just thought it was a cool title. I like Joni Mitchell.
No, I agree. I like the title of it, and I kind of like the groove of it too. That's what 512 Fridays are all about, to broaden your horizons a little bit. So, thanks, my man Jack, for working hard with that. You can be a part of the show. You're the best part of the show. 512-337-3776. That's the number to the Specs text line. You also can hit us up via Twitter. Hardball Harge is at Hardball Harge. The Twitter first. My man Jack is at Jack A Farrell. Not like Colin, not like Will.
Yes, Colin Farrell with the Farrell.
Yes, like Colin, not like Will. That's why I got to make sure I throw that out there, because that'll you go, oh, okay, I get it. Yes. And then you can hit me up at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. All right, let's get to this story about Rob Manfred, because you're a Rob Manfred fan, Jack? Because most people aren't. I actually am. I'm not a fan, but I'm not a Rob Manfred hater. Most people are Rob Manfred haters. They hate him. You think he's despicable.
I don't think his decision-making is always the worst thing in the world, but every public appearance, he is saying something irritating.
Yes.
You know, like, and with this, I know we're getting into it, but why now? Why bring this up?
That's, yes.
You're just fueling the flames, and you know where the Astros are playing this weekend.
I know.
New York City.
No,
even
Dodgers.
worse.
Oh, the Dodgers.
Dodger Stadium.
No, your Rangers are playing the Yankees.
Oh, that's right. The Rangers are
the
playing
Dodgers are playing the Dodgers. I know. So, no, there's actually a campaign right now among the fans of Dodgers to boo the Astros.
All two of the players that are on the roster from 2017?
That's the thing.
Both of the players?
And not even the same people from the front office.
Trust me.
They're not even the same people from the front office.
Hey, man,
the only person is Crane.
I didn't say it made sense, gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right. This doesn't make a lot of sense either, to Jack's point. I don't know why the timing of it. This is very curious. Okay, so Harge, he actually did an interview with Time Magazine. Rob Manfred did. And essentially, he claimed that he regretted the way that he handled the Astros scandal.
Yeah.
He said, quote, "I'm not sure that I would have approached it with giving players immunity. Once we gave players immunity, it puts you in a box as to what exactly you were going to do in terms of punishment. I might have gone about the investigative process without that grant of immunity and see where it takes us, starting with, I'm not going to punish anybody. Maybe not my best decision ever."
Yeah, why is he talking?
At the time, I said, yeah, that's probably one of the best decisions. But you couldn't get guys to go on the record and talk to you
exactly
unless you were granting them immunity. So it was kind of it's catch-22. I don't know what you were going to do about it.
Yeah, there was no way that you could have went around it, because the story wouldn't have been the same. It's the same thing when you go back and you look at what's going on with the Yankees and the Red Sox, and of course, they over there booing the Dodgers. The Dodgers have had their own issues, and there has been stories about them cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're sitting there and you're casting a stone, not realizing that can all come back to you, that's the reason why the Dodgers are all mad, because they didn't talk. That's why this story has been so quiet. The Dodgers are over there wanting to point it, but they are the ones that, hey, you know that people in your organization are now in other organizations that have probably told some of the things that was going on in that locker room. It happens. It happens. That's why this whole story came out, because of Mike Fiers. He was at another organization.
Yep, talking.
Loose lips sink ships. Too soon. But you got to sit there and you look.
Wow.
You look at it and you say, man, that was too soon. Yeah. But you sit there and you say, you don't have to say anything as the commissioner. You have that right to not even talk about it. Or you could just say, we did what we needed to do at that time. There's so many other things.
You're right. I think the point is there were so many other ways he could have said it. You can actually kind of say this. He could have said there are lessons that we definitely learned from the way that we handled it at the time.
Yes.
And we'll, as an organization, we'll get better from those lessons we learned.
There
are always mistakes that are made, but sometimes in retrospect we have to learn from mistakes that are made and move on from them and grow as an organization. Whatever you want to say.
That PR speak kind of opened my eye. You doing that made me realize how much worse this is.
Yeah, because
it's like you don't have to do. You are the commissioner of one of the big four sports in our country, and you're just like, you sound like a player that hasn't been media trained.
When's the last
going on a podcast?
I know. When's the last time Goodell has done this though? Goodell has admitted he's handled something wrong.
Which is why people hate him.
It might have been the Kaepernick thing.
It was the Kaepernick thing. He did say that.
But I will say the commissioners are supposed to be hated. They get money to be hated because they represent the owners. The owners don't want to be hated, so the commissioners are supposed to be the representative of the owners, and they are, most of them, hated. Adam Silver actually does a decent job of not being so hated, but most of them are unanimously disliked. But I think
By the way, did you notice how tall Adam Silver really is? Yesterday when he was dapping up all those players, he wasn't that small next to them.
Nosferatu up there.
My bad. I didn't mean to get us off course.
No, it's interesting. I didn't actually know. I would love to see. Type it in. Let's see how tall Adam Silver is.
I'm going to see how tall he is.
But it seems like Rob Manfred brings more of it on himself. 6'3". He is tall.
Yeah.
It seems like Rob Manfred brings more of it on himself.
He does.
Rather than the other commissioners who get criticism because of situations that arise within the organization, like China with the NBA or Kaepernick with Goodell or, I don't know, Spygate or all that kind of stuff. They handle it poorly, and that's what happens. But for him, to even bring this up, like, why'd you bring this up?
Right.
Why would you?
Somebody said he needed Kevin Garnett to tell him that they were live. When he answered that question, hey, we live, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to even have that conversation. It's very disappointing when you sit and you think about it. But most importantly, you've created a stir, especially to your point, where this team is going this weekend. That's going to be the entire conversation of it again. And a lot of people are trying to move on from it. Yes, you're going to have a few people that are going to have those moments and still think that their team was holier than thou. But when you sit there and you look at what happened and what transpired, and I've talked about this and other players have talked about it, there's so many other things that need to be going on instead of you worrying about the Astros winning a World Series.
I agree. Listen, I was actually giving Rob Manfred a lot of props. And
you were working on me.
Well, because
you were working on me.
His legacy, and he's tarnished it in a lot of ways. His legacy was based on these rule changes that he's been experimenting with for a while, been studying for a while, and that he was championing. Hey, we've implemented these rule changes. It is going to change the game for the good. All right, you're going to get more offense. Offense will increase, and the games will be even shorter. Duration of games will decrease, and that'll be really good for the game. And it has been really good for the game. It's been tremendous. He was right about that.
Right.
And I've been asking people to give Rob Manfred props for it. Nobody will.
Nah.
No baseball fan will give him props for it because they dislike him that much. They can't even give him the slightest compliment.
Not even a little bit.
Just say, yeah, actually, he was right about that.
Not even a little bit.
And most people were in the minority. They did not agree with the rule changes. They thought the rule changes were implemented, were not going to work, and that they would be something that would ultimately be disastrous.
I was with a bunch of old heads when all of this started, like guys that are, don't hit the curve or whatever it was, where they were sitting there saying, nah, this ain't going to work, man. This is game. This is our game. This is not supposed to be timed. We're not supposed to be pressed. What else are you doing? If you want to go to the park, now everybody's like, man, this is outstanding.
Exactly.
I can still do stuff after the game. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't really heard any complaints about it since maybe the first week they implemented. But after that, not. I mean, remember the players were complaining at first too. Yeah. Even that has subsided. It's universally beloved. Everybody loves these rule changes. That was supposed to be Rob Manfred's legacy, so he needs to shut up and just let that be his legacy.
Just sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Quit talking about the mistakes you made before that. No, start from the positive, the legacy moment for you, and then now let's build on good moments after that and positive ones.
No,
quit reflecting on the old stuff that we know you have regrets about it. We do too.
Exactly. And the people I was talking about, the movie I was trying to reference was Trouble with the Curve. Remember when Clint Eastwood was in there and he was the scout and they were trying to get rid of him because he had his old school ways, and the new guy was like, oh, this guy, we need to get this. He's like, he can't hit the curve.
Who played the new guy?
It was, it wasn't Justin Timberlake, because Justin Timberlake was on his side because he was dating Clint Eastwood's daughter.
I remember this movie. I just don't know who played the younger scout in the movie.
I got it for you.
I think it was somebody who was supposed to be kind of young and sexy. Because remember, we're not going to get into
the daughter was in the movie.
Yes, we're not getting deep into the review of Trouble with the Curve, but I remember the movie. I remember it well.
Yeah.
Yes, so I appreciate the reference. Okay, well.
Oh, it was Matthew Lillard. He was supposed to be the stud scout that was like, we need to draft this guy and not that guy. Yeah. And the daughter, Amy Adams.
Yeah, she
was the one that was trying to make sure, because she's been around the game the entire life. She grew up with her dad.
Yeah, she was basically
she was a scout.
She had a better eye for talent than the guys, than the actual scouts. I remember that movie randomly. All right, there you go. Enough talk about Rob Manfred and
people hate him.
And they shouldn't, because like I said, the legacy should be the biggest decision he's ever made in his life, which was to implement as the commissioner of the Major League Baseball, was to implement the new rule changes, and they worked. And that's what he shouldn't be talking about anything else.
Thank you.
He should be talking about the rule changes. Maybe like, you know what? I remember when everybody said my rule change wasn't going to work. People called me an idiot. People said that I was inept. And I need to be fired from my job, and that I was going to wreck the game for future fans. And turns out I actually saved the game for future fans.
How you like me now?
He should be patting himself on the back for
that.
Yeah,
he should be like, how you like me now?
Like, where's your publicist? Yep. Where's your PR person? There should be somebody behind the camera or right there next to the guy saying, no. What he wants to talk about is this. You don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Come on, Rob.
Yeah, tripping.
Right, we'll get into the flex on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Davis here. It is the weekend, and trust me, once I'm done with the show, I'll get the weekend started the right way with my favorite tequila, Hot Cat Tequila. It is my favorite tequila. It's my go-to tequila. The cat stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila, and the recipe is just as simple and just as delicious. It's just cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. That's why it's so light. That's why it's so smooth. It's every tequila lover's dream, and if you're not a fan of tequila, well, Hot Cat Tequila will still make you a fan of tequila. It'll turn any event into a party, and every party feels like a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. And once you try Hot Cat, you'll never ever go back to that old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you were ordering rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. So turn up your party this weekend with Hot Cat Tequila. It's the perfect way to pregame for all the big games, concerts, festivals, or any night on the town with family and friends. Best served cold for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rocks. So visit cattequila.com. That's cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila, or to find a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a 512 Friday. That's when Jack plays jams from local bands and artists. Very talented human beings that you have a chance to listen to and hear and see live right here in the ATX. Who we jamming right now, Jack?
This is Shivering Demons with Purgatory. Pick this one because they're going to be playing at the Hole in the Wall, a place I love to frequent in my time at the University of Texas. You can go see them tonight.
Hold on, where's the Hole in the Wall? Or is it a hole in the wall or the hole in the wall?
I believe it's the Hole in the Wall.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, actually, I can see it now that you said
the
something.
yellow
it's on
sign.
6th Street.
Yeah, I can see it.
No, it's the one. It's on Guadalupe.
It's on Guadalupe. I can
It's
see
on
it.
Guadalupe, right by the communications building.
Yeah, I know.
Has
now
the
I can
Bob
see
Dylan
it.
mural on the side of the wall.
Yeah, no, I
Like
can see it actually.
20, like Dean Keaton in Guadalupe, like right there.
Never been there, but
That was my corner of campus, so
It
I was
must.
always over there.
It's been around a while then. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
That's
There
a
you go.
classic.
My man Jack hooking you up. All right, that's what 512 Friday is all about. The Flex is also what we're all about right now. Go check out flxatx.com, flxatx on all of your social media platforms. You can also get the 7-on-7 state tournament schedule there and all the flex teams in the local area here who will be participating. And by the way, it's already started. It started yesterday and it'll be going all throughout the weekend.
Yep.
So you can go get some updates. Go to flxatx.com, flxatx on all your social media platforms for updates. But if you want to find out exactly what pools and pods they were playing in and what teams are participating, you can go find that out at flxatx.com.
And Lake Travis, just an update. Lake Travis won today in their first game, 48-7.
Shout out Lake Travis.
Yeah. I got Kim folks out there playing, so they shot me the
True that.
the text
That's
out
right.
there. Stay hydrated, folks. Stay hydrated.
Who's his top school right now?
Well, it
For
seems
Kim
to be right now. He went to TCU last weekend
Mm-hmm.
and had a great workout there, and then he went to had another workout at Rice. He really likes Rice program.
Okay.
They've been doing a really good job. down
Rice
there.
is blowing up. Actually, I
Yeah.
was gonna do a random Raj rant about a Rice, but I knew people wouldn't
No,
care.
they want to hear it because that's the team that they play first this year.
Well, I know, and I was
So that's a perfect
I was
reason.
gonna add it to just random research, and I was like, nobody knows that. But no, right? There's a guy on the staff that I want, and he honestly, Nico probably knows. There's a guy that I want Texas to hire. That's on that staff.
It's probably the one that's been talking to Nico.
I'm telling you, man, he is a rocket.
Yeah.
Like he is a fast riser. But I was actually, you know what? I might bring back that segment.
Bring it.
I might bring it back next week. You'll be gone.
It's okay. I'll be listening. Hey,
Dude, you better not be listening on your vacation.
I'm gonna be listening to my boy, man.
You better not be listening to
I'm
the
gonna
show on
listen.
your vacation.
Hey, look,
No.
every moment is
I
not gonna be
refuse.
tied into it.
No, you can't. You better not be. You better be on
Right, I'm
vacation,
here for the people.
hanging out with wifey and family, and getting the time. Because people don't know, Hard's got multiple jobs. So
Yeah.
he's actually taking off all of his jobs for the first time.
For the first time in a very long time.
So no,
Yeah.
dude, take off the jobs and
Yeah.
enjoy wifey and the family, man. It's going. I'm happy for you guys. It'll be a good
I know
time
they'll
out
be
there.
happy to hear that.
Yeah, man, for sure. Anyway, let's get to the next segment here because you're done. That's all your flex, right?
Yeah,
That's all you
that's
got?
it. That's it.
We'll get to coming up next segment. We'll get to some Texas football discussion because there are a couple of NFL scouts. Well, one NFL scout and one ESPN draft analyst that are analyzing the skill set of one Quinn Ewers. We'll talk about what they had to say. We'll talk about their analysis and evals of one Quinn Ewers. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. 512 Friday, that's when Jack plays jams from local bands and artists that you have a chance to see live right here in the ATX. Who we jamming right now, Jack?
I'm afraid of butchering the name, but it's
right.
Kazayux or Kazayux. It's Cazayux.
Well.
You can find out yourself if you go to Pershing Hall and ask them tonight.
I love that. Yeah, don't worry. We butcher names all the time, but we just apologize.
We apologize early, though.
Yeah, because it's definitely not intentional.
Great groove to it, though, however you say it.
No, I will say that it took a different turn than I thought it would from the intro of the song.
It kicked in.
Yeah. So
Kicked in and got funky.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. Got a little funk in there. Okay, so 512 Friday, that's what it's all about. Also, Hard Knock Life coming up in about 24 or 5 minutes or so.
Yep.
What you got for the people?
I'm going to talk a little bit about this baseball game that happened last night. I told you it was going to be an epic battle, especially with the pitching staffs, and that's exactly what we got. We got a great finish to a great baseball game last night.
All right, nice. Okay, so we'll get into some College World Series discussion. You did say it would be a pitcher's duel. I don't like pitcher's duels.
I know you don't. You like to see the action, but here's the thing. Going back to your point of what you were saying about Rob Manfred, when you had a great pitcher's duel, the game was moving rather rapidly.
Oh,
so
no,
you
it's
could
fast.
pay attention to it.
That's true.
And keep that interest where you could. It was happening between picks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how fast it was.
Yeah, no, you're right. How quick was the game?
The game was actually 2 hours and 58 minutes, and they went to extra innings.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they went 11 innings.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Still didn't even make it to 3 hours.
Still didn't make it 3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to that coming up in Hard Knock Life. I want to get to this story, and this is from the 33rd. It's Mark Trestman, actually a former NFL head coach, and he's writing a piece, former NFL writing a piece for this website, and in the website, they're basically critiquing and he's evaluating Quinn Ewers.
Mm-hmm.
The title is Texas Quinn Ewers displays big upside with work to be done. So I was like, all right, you know what, let me go check out this article and see exactly what he's critiquing about Quinn Ewers' skill set and see if it aligns with what we've seen and stuff that we've brought up about Quinn Ewers' skill set and some of the improvements that need to be made in order for him to take his game to the next level. So one of the things he points out that I thought was interesting, I'm not going to go through every little detail here. He says, while I saw evidence of Ewers getting through progressions, he was typically only asked to read half the field while in the pocket. Which is interesting because I do believe that Sark kept the reads to a minimum in his progressions. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't have, multiple progressions, but it did seem like at times there were predetermined throws. It did seem like, I'm not saying a lot of them, but it did seem like sometimes in some of the concepts, and by the way, all offenses have these, so I'm not just being critical of Sark being it, but it's like sometimes there are predetermined throws regardless of what the defense was doing or what the coverage was, that it was already determined, hey, you're going here. To simplified form.
I was just about to say to the simplified
most
form.
form. And I do believe that Quinn Ewers was pretty much at his best when he was a two-read quarterback. Like basically going through, it's kind of a two-read progression for the most part. That would align with kind of what he's saying is that they kind of cut half the field off. That it was kind of a two-read progression. If you can make him get past the second read, trouble. That's when you can get him in trouble. And it got more difficult for him later on in the season, and this aligns too, because the 3 games that he watched, I believe, were Washington.
He actually watched 5. He watched Alabama, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Baylor, and Washington.
So
and Washington was a great game for him to watch because he played great in that game.
We played great in the Oklahoma game and the Bama game, actually.
Yep.
But the difference between that and I'm glad he watched the Iowa State game too and the Baylor game. The difference between that and later on in the season, teams stopped playing so much man coverage against Texas. They figured out that X-Man was going to be the deep threat and the featured guy, so he was worthy, no pun intended, of you double teaming him frequently because, he's going to be the deep threat and he's the feature receiver, and Sark goes to both his deep threats and his feature receivers a lot.
Yes, he does.
So you can kind of take him out of the equation and also try to implement pre-snap disguise with Quinn Ewers, because Alabama didn't do a lot of that.
Right.
Alabama played man-to-man, and they were like, let's see if this golden arm of Quinn Ewers is actually as good as they hype it up to be. It was. It lit him up for a quarter. And then he got hurt, and then we all know how that worked out. And then when teams started playing more zone against Quinn Ewers, because he hasn't played a lot of football, he couldn't decipher the zone coverages very well. He just hadn't had a lot of reps at deciphering those zone coverage, especially the 3 high safety coverages, which, by the way, Sark struggles with schematically, and then Quinn struggles to decipher. That's the best way to kind of counteract what Texas is doing. So it does align kind of with what some of the film that I've watched, Sarge.
Right. And that was some of the things that you and I have been talking about prior to all this information that were coming out. But you and I have been saying, I was like, dude, I don't think he sees any parts of the field after the first or second read. You can just see it. But going back to what you said about how Sark was designing certain plays for a 2-play read to make sure that he got the ball out of his hand and get it to the playmakers, or try to. And then when they went to the zone, it made it very difficult for him. But I was thinking that long before he even took his first snaps, because I had been talking to some people that were saying, hey, I don't know how well he's going to see the field immediately. And let's not forget, last year was the first year that he actually played football in like 3 years.
Exactly.
So for him, the game has changed, and the speed and the tempo and everything else that was involved in it. But for him, it was probably moving very fast because he wasn't used to being back at that.
Yeah, drinking through a fire hose.
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah. And that's why I think, the conversation that we've heard so far is there has been a huge adjustment in what he sees, how he's seeing the game, and what he's done to get himself better.
Yep.
So that's the jump that everybody's waiting for.
No question. And, I think we will see that jump. And if we don't see that jump, then we'll see it from Malik. Yep. One of those quarterbacks is
somebody's
going to
jump.
Somebody's taking that jump. All right. Like crisscross. Jump. All right. So back to the article here from Mark Trestman, the former head coach, talking about basically evaluating Quinn Ewers. He's evaluating the scheme a little bit too, which I think is pretty interesting.
I like that.
He talks about what separates Texas passing game from most other college offenses is Sarkisian's use of 6, 7, and even 8-man protections. As an offensive coordinator, the ability to understand and vary protections during a game is a top priority. He said these heavier protection schemes, opposed to typical 5-man protections, allow quarterbacks to take deeper drop backs and throw to deeper and more established routes. That is part of it. Sark likes, I would say, he's a big game hunter. Like, so this kind of lines up what I've talked about. He's a big game hunter. He don't like small game. He should try to implement more small game and more medium game, but no, man, he wants the big game. He don't want no quail.
No.
Right? He ain't dove hunting. Nah, man, he out there looking for some big game, and we've seen him sometimes honestly, to his disadvantage.
Yeah.
He'll hunt that big game down the field, but his quarterbacks
does hurt him from time to time.
Exactly. His quarterbacks need time for those routes to develop. That's why he keeps a lot of his, 6, 7, and even 8-man protections. That's why he likes the 6-0 line package, too. He takes a lot of shots downfield with his 6-0 line package because he feels like he's got more secure protection for the quarterback.
Yeah, and that's why we always talk about he needs those long developing plays. That's why he keeps those guys in, because if you don't have enough to stay in and block, those plays aren't going to develop the way that you expect them to. But to me, this year, well, going back to last year and what we saw on film, do you think a lot of Quinn's, because we talked about the footwork, but do you attest a lot of his struggles in certain games to the fact that it was just 1 and 2 reads and he didn't have a chance to scan the entire field?
No, I think Sark was doing what's right. Sark knows quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think Sark was bringing him along slowly.
Yeah.
He's already it's already tough for him because he hasn't played a lot of football, hadn't had the reps, and I think Sark understood. Let's bring him along slowly. It may not be the best thing right now for the overall offense, for the ideal Sark offense, for this offense to reach its ceiling.
Yeah.
But for him ultimately to come closer to reaching his ceiling, this is the path. This is the path.
Yeah.
This is the way, as they would say on The Mandalorian. And you have to bring him along slowly, and that's part of the reason why even after he had his worst game, which was probably Oklahoma State, He didn't bench him.
He didn't.
He didn't bench him during the game, didn't bench him after. It's like, nope, this is the guy. And I think part of that is he knows, hey, man, I am part of the reason you're seeing him struggle too.
Right.
Because of the way that I want to develop him.
Yeah.
And I think Sark's, he's patient with that, and I'm glad he is because Sark knows his quarterbacks.
And he definitely believes in him. And
yes, he does.
Again, he feels like this is my team. This is where I need to be now. And another year in the system and another year playing football, I expect to see a humongous jump, which he wasn't that bad last year, but I expect to see him take a huge jump this year.
Yeah. He okay, and this is also part of the article here, and like I said, I love it because this is something that we've talked about a ton. He said, I did not see quick answer hot options in the 5 games I watched when protections could not handle a +1 defender. It was up to Ewers to make a play in those few instances. And he basically points out that Ewers struggled to make a play when he blitzed a +1, and he didn't have a lot of hot, quick answers. And what do I always say? Quick game, 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 quick game. And Sark doesn't have enough of that quick game. All right, you need a ton of that in kind of fused in and baked into the offense. And Sark oftentimes he will work backwards with the passing game. Like he'll start throwing the deep stuff early. Hopefully kind of psychologically plant seeds of fear in the defense, soften them up, back them up, make them less aggressive, get them on their heels. And then he'll start working in the quick game, working in the intermediate game. And I think he needs to switch that. I think he needs to start with the quick game, start with the intermediate game, and then work his way to the deep ball. And I know for him, that's not the way he likes to operate, but I think it would help his young quarterback get in a rhythm and get in a groove. And I think that even is what Mark Trestman's talking about here.
Yep.
He's talking about he didn't notice see many quick answer hot options, and that's why teams later on decided, all right, you know what, we got to come after Quinn.
Yep.
And if we can come after him before he can try to get to that second progression, and we can take away the first one, then he'll panic.
Yep.
And then if he panics, then they don't have any other built-in fail safes in protection.
Exactly. I do like the fact that what he said at the very end of the article too, that I was totally impressed with the way he thinks, because this is something that you and I have been talking about since Quinn was named the starting quarterback from the spring game. His ceiling is so high that if he can figure it out and take care of the football, the sky is the limit. We talked about it earlier. Texas is only going to go as far for right now. I'm just saying for right now. Yeah. As good as Quinn is going to be, will be the answer for the University of Texas's football team this year. Period. Yeah. I think if and even if you do make the change, I think that I think Malik has a lot of potential. Obviously, we don't know what Arch is, but we assume that Arch is going to be what we expect him to be. But no matter what, if this team's success hinges on how well Quinn Ewers plays.
I even read a stat the other day. 60% of all NFL pass attempts are three-step drops or fewer. That's quick game officially. So more than half the passing game in the NFL is quick game. Sark has a West Coast pro-style passing game.
Yes, he does.
Hell, I mean, that's the NFL in a nutshell. Sark is actually kind of going the other way because he wants to take shots downfield. And I get it, and I think he will connect on more of those. But last year, man, you were one of the worst teams in the Big 12 on deep ball accuracy. Quinn Ewers completed 23% of his deep balls. Hudson Card completed a little bit over the 34% of his deep balls, which is probably closer to what the average is, or a little bit below average. But still, as a team, you were pretty bad with the deep ball overall for Texas. So I think Sark needs to, like I said, he needs to work. Operate differently instead of trying to throw the deep ball early. Get your quarterback confident in the rhythm. The other thing he mentions here, he talks about the footwork a little bit. He says mechanically, Ewers sometimes shows disciplined footwork from the shotgun on his 3- and 5-step drops. On these occasions, he has strong athletic base and a short step transfer of weight from his back foot to his front foot toward his target before following through with a smooth release. He says with nimble footwork and fluid hips, Ewers is capable of looking like a prototypical NFL pocket passer with elite mechanics. It can be easy to get excited because the ball appears to explode out of Ewers' right hand. While he can drive the ball when needed, he also instinctively and easily changes ball speeds and trajectories, throwing a very catchable ball to all widths and depths of the field. So basically talking about his touch, and he does have great touch. He also ends that with saying, that said, these flashes are too far and few between. Overall, Ewers is inconsistent, which primarily stems from his free-willing mechanics. On short and deep passes, there are poorly located throws littered throughout his tape and passes thrown out of bounds where he doesn't give his intended receiver a chance to make a play. Even on some of his completions, Ewers has placement and accuracy issues, preventing receivers from maximizing the run after catch. And we all know, because of Sark's run-to-daylight philosophy, he's a big yak guy. He wants a yak daddy.
Constantly moving.
Yes, he wants his receivers on the move, catching the ball on the move. And if Ewers is inaccurate, kind of throws off the rhythm of the offense.
And that is something that we've talked about. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I've yet to see him let one go and try to rip it into a spot. I haven't seen him get to that back leg, plant it, and just absolutely hose a football. I haven't seen it. And that's probably not who he is as far as that guy that can take that one step and just really fire it in there. But he is that guy that can throw to a space. He does have good touch on the deep ball, even though there were a lot of miscommunications and misses on some of them. When he does hit it, it's a beautiful, beautiful pass. And that is something that I'm thinking that this year they've been working extra hard on hitting that deep pass, because what do you always say, Rod? Gotta have that deep ball, baby.
You gotta have it.
Gotta have it.
He also said, within the pocket, Ewers has natural ability to slide or step up and find quiet areas behind his protection to deliver. He inherently senses and escapes pressure with relative ease and is a dangerous playmaker with his arm outside of the pocket, despite having only sufficient athleticism while on the move. Ewers will show good eye discipline and resourceful playmaking, sometimes leading to excellent it factor plays. But he also goes on to criticize his lack of running plays. He also has some concerns about his running ability to periodically extend plays with his legs when things break down, because I saw little of it. Ewers has not shown the ability to be a legitimate rushing threat, running for very few yards and extending few plays. He did it later on, and Hard, you kept saying it too. He was like, run more.
Yes.
Just run more. You kept saying you should run more. He did run a little bit more.
Yeah, and again, I know he's not that.
In the Baylor game, I believe it was.
Yeah, I know he's not known for his legs, but keeping drives alive, making sure that people just can't think that they can bring somebody in and not get burned by you rushing for 10 yards and keeping the drive alive. I think that's something that you need to do. There's going to be some breakdowns. There's going to be some times where you do need to tuck it and run. There's times where you can get outside and pump fake and get some extra yards. We saw Vince Young do that millions of times. We saw previous quarterbacks before whoever played the position do that. I'm just saying, get yourself more time. Be mobile in the pocket, and then make them have to change the way that they're playing their defense, because now you can get back to your one-on-ones. You can get back up to that matchup. So that's what I'm waiting to see.
And yeah, he also went on here. Mark Trestman went on to say, Ewers has a unique and impressive ability to vary his arm slot, but he often does so unnecessarily.
Yep.
That can lead to inaccuracy and misses on easy throws. It almost feels like this is unintentional, like he releases the ball with whatever delivery he feels is natural at the time. Sometimes he looks like a second baseman trying to turn a double play. The problem is he'll do this even when he is free in the pocket and has the space to step up and complete a fundamentally sound throwing motion. Additionally, Ewers' carriage of the ball in the pocket is often too low and outside his frame, which costs time in his delivery and is a ball security violation and can lead to inaccurate throws. But he went on to say, to end the article, when evaluating his poise and mental capabilities, Ewers appears advanced for a 20-year-old, but he still makes many mistakes a typical young signal caller would make. As a decision maker, Ewers can quickly process and immediately get the ball out of his hands, though his decisions can be careless at times. Still, his quick processing ability will serve him well in the future. He said he was also impressed with his poise under pressure and ability to read coverages and flashes of high-level anticipatory throws. So he did say, that he basically has all the raw materials, I should say, to be an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
He says if Ewers can remedy his mechanical inconsistencies, He will become a more accurate and efficient passer, as quick-minded as he is and able to get the ball out from undisciplined positions. Simply improving his staging and being more intentional with his arm slot unquestionably will lead to enhanced accuracy and placement.
Yep. Those are all the things that you and I have been talking about the entire season. So our evaluations are right there because Mark Trestman has done a great job.
I thought that was pretty accurate.
Yeah. I mean, all the things that we pay attention to, and you know, we talk a lot of football here, rightfully so. You start looking at certain things, and the quarterback position is one that everybody evaluates, no matter what. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the microscope. So when he goes out there and he can play at that level and he's got his footwork working, I don't think there will be that many people that are going to be better than him in the country. But if he goes out there and reverts back to those things, the second baseman throws that we were talking about, and I said that earlier. I'm like, why is this dude over here flipping the ball like he playing shortstop? Like, what is he doing? And he called him a second baseman, so the middle infielder. But I'm excited for what the expectations of Quinn Ewers is going to be this year, because I believe this is going to be a very, very exciting year, and he may put up some numbers that we're not used to seeing here.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, if he doesn't, I have faith that, you know, Sark will make the right move, and you got a very capable quarterback behind him in Malik Murphy. If there's an injury that happens or for some reason Quinn doesn't live up to the expectations, which I think that he will. There's actually quarterback rankings that I want to get to, so we'll table that for the 6 o'clock. We can get into that. And there are some Big 12 coaching pressure rankings that I want to get to, so we'll talk some more college football coming up in the 6 o'clock. But what you got coming up for the people on Hard Knock Life?
We're going to recap the College World Series game last night between Wake Forest, who was the number one team in the nation, and LSU, who had been the number one team in the nation for quite some time. It was an epic battle that was played in extra innings under 3 hours, Rod. Under 3 hours.
Yeah, pitcher's duel. Usually don't like those, but this one was for it all. So we'll talk about that coming up with my man Hardball right next on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about our friends over at Apple Leasing, because everybody needs friends like our friends over at Apple Leasing. Everyone wants to have the satisfaction of getting that brand new car, the car that's perfect for you and your family, that brand new car smell. But nobody wants to deal with the headache and the stress of price shopping, going to different dealerships, making sure that every price point and every payment plan matches up and is compatible with your budget. That can all be really stressful and really time consuming. Who's got that kind of time? What you need to do is reach out to our friends over at Apple Leasing, whether they're go by going to appleleasing.com or by giving them a call at 512-346-9977. It's a really easy process. You let them know exactly what kind of car fits you and your family best, whether it's an SUV or whether it's a sedan. You let them know about your budget, what's most compatible with your price points, and they will do all the hard work for you. They'll go out there and find the perfect car for you and your family without all the stress and the headache. Somebody who knows exactly what this process is all about is my man, Mike Harge.
He's right. I mean, they made the process so simple, and a lot of times you're busy in today's world. Everybody's got jobs. Everybody's trying to work, so you can't take off a lot of times just to go over there and look at the car. Don't worry about it. Just tell them the make and the model, and they will find it for you. As we said, it's a simple process. They also have their own rates where you can go in and you can say, hey, I'm looking for this rate, and I want to be able to have my leasing payment at this number. they will make it easy for you. A lot of times you don't even have to make a down payment, and sometimes there's no payments for 90 days. What, you can't beat that. But the most important part about it is if you are looking for a lease, whatever the make, whatever the model, whatever the year that you are looking for, they have it for you. I told them I'm looking for a Lincoln Navigator. They went out and found one. Boom, your boy is rolling and rolling tough. And I love working with the folks over at Apple Leasing. I've done 3 cars and I will do another one for sure. Go to appleleasing.com today or give them a call at 512-346-9977 and they will take all of the pressure off of you. Tell them what you want. Tell them how you want to get it done. And if you can't make it to the office, they will send you over a DocuSign document so you can be able to stay at your job, because obviously you're going to need to make them payments, so you got to stay at work. Do yourself a favor. Go over to appleleasing.com today. Welcome back to a 512 edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's where my man Jack plays music for local artists where you're going to be able to see them in the city this weekend. So make sure you check that out. But it's your boy Hardball Hard. You can follow me on Twitter at Hardball Hard. You can follow my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers. And you can also follow my man Jack at Jack A. Farrell, like Colin, not like Will Farrell, on Twitter. So make sure you check him out. And that is how last night ended. It's an unbelievable matchup. We were talking about it before we went off the air yesterday. You got the two of the best pitchers in college baseball going right at each other. You had Paul Skeens and Rhett Lowder pitching their hearts out. Every pitch, every play was so important throughout the game. And this was a do-or-die matchup. This was, you're going to get ready to go and play for a national championship, and your season is over, and you get to go home. So this was an epic battle. Every pitch was high leverage, high intense pitching. And Paul Skeens, while we were watching the game before we left, I said, Rod, check out how he's pitching. And you were like, he's throwing 100 on the black. He was throwing 100 miles an hour on the corner. And then he would back it up with an 88 to 87 mile an hour slide piece on the corner. He had a good changeup. If he needed to run his fastball in, he was able to do so. It was one of the things that I was most anticipated to watch, because we all know that those are grown men that are out there in Skeens and Lowder. And the fact that all of these hitters knew what they were going to be facing. Mm-hmm. They knew what was coming up. And taking a fastball on the corner coming at you at 100 miles an hour, and then him coming back with an 88 mile an hour off-speed pitch, it was something that if you were a hitter, all you could do is tip your cap to him. You got yourself ready to go, but sometimes it's just not in the cards for you.
For real.
Paul Skeens threw 120 pitches last night. 82 of them were for strikes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Lowder, he threw where did it go? Oh, he threw 88 pitches. 63 of them were for strikes. So as a hitter, this is how you approach this. We're not getting walks, so be ready to attack the strike zone. Mm-hmm. Find yourself something that you can hit. Try to get yourself approach. Skeens only had 2 hits. Lowder only gave up 3 hits. Lowder had 6 strikeouts and 2 walks. Paul Skeens had 9 strikeouts and 1 walk. This was the game that we thought we were going to see. And we talked about this. Dylan Cruz is probably going to be the number 1 or number 2 draft pick. Paul Skeens will probably be the number 1 through 5 draft pick. This is a guy that is going to have a lot of opportunities later in life. Dylan Cruz, the uber-talented center fielder, he had 2 hits last night. He got on base last night with a hit, and Tommy Tanks come up. And he hits the ball a ton. And he finally connected on one because he, too, was having a tough series throughout, but he was moved up in the number 2 hole, made it happen. And Trey Morgan made the play of the game on the squeeze play, first baseman. And I had a buddy of mine who I talked to about Trey Morgan a long time ago, because don't forget, they started the season in the Carbach Classic here in Round Rock. Mm-hmm. And I got a chance to be around this team, got a chance to spend some time with Jay Johnson, got some time with Paul Skeens. But I was asking people about Trey Morgan. Trey Morgan played a little bit of the outfield this year, but he is a gold-gloved caliber first baseman, and we saw him make the play at first base on the bunt, came home, made a clean pick, and made a strong throw to home plate, just flipping it. I mean, it was one of those bang-bang plays. Everything had to be perfect on the offensive end, but it also had to be perfect on the defensive end to make that play. Yep. So it was a great play at home plate. So I was really, really excited to watch that game and watch the way it unfolded. But I do want to say this. Tommy White played third base for North Carolina State last year. Paul Skeens played for Air Force Academy. You got a chance to see him here.
Mm-hmm.
Thatcher Hurd, the pitcher that came in and pitched after Paul Skeens, came from somewhere else. The transfer portal giveth, and it taketh away. But what it did just giveth a chance for you to play for a national championship. So going back to the conversation that we've had for the last week and a half, Rod, where we were talking about where does Texas baseball fit in the NIL realm? It's the 10th, right? At LSU, it's near the top.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you donate to the Texas One Fund. You can go out and you can compete with these types of teams to get these types of players. Everybody wants to win championships, but what is the price that you're willing to pay? Literally pay for an opportunity to get there. This is huge, and this is a huge part of why Coach Johnson said in his post-game interview, if you want to play for championships, this is where you need to be.
Yeah,
you need to look at LSU. And that's the funniest part about it. And this is the quote. Lastly, as I look to my left, if you're one of the best players in the transfer portal, there's only one place to come. And he said it with a smile. Last summer, I spent a lot of time with these men, and I think they would tell you they made the right choices. I want to join forces with them if they were out there. So, and I know a lot of people are like, I can't believe he just said that on national TV. Listen, this is always recruiting. What do we always say about Mack Brown? When Mack Brown was talking about that national championship, who was he talking to? The mamas and the daddies and the coaches in the state of Texas.
Yep.
This is your championship. This is your national championship. So thank you. And what did that happen? Kept recruiting. Kept on recruiting. And that is what my man Jay Johnson is doing right now. He's always recruiting, and there's a lot of players that are in that transfer portal. We've gone through it before.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's over 3,000 again that have been jumping in that portal. Mitchell Daly just got he just went to Kentucky. He announced today that he's going to Kentucky. He just left Texas, and he's already committed to Kentucky. So the transfer portal is out there. It is used. Some people love it. Some people hate it. But this was a good work by Jay Johnson. Now, they still got to go beat Florida. By the way, this is a all-SEC championship again. And remember last year, Ole Miss won. Mississippi State won a couple years ago.
Yep.
LSU is looking to try to win this again for the first time, I think, since 2017 maybe. And this is Jay Johnson's first time of possibly getting to win a national championship. So for everybody that's always questioning the NIL, this is the reason why the NIL is so important. So TexasOneFund.org. Make sure you remember that. TexasOneFund.org.
For sure.
And lastly, I want to leave y'all with this. I had an opportunity to play against Torrey Hunter. I got an opportunity to be around Torrey Hunter just recently at a buddy's birthday party, and we had some conversation. Nice. He was on the pivot the other day with Ryan Clark, Crowder, and Fred Taylor. And I don't know if everybody remembers this, but at one point during the All-Star game with Barry Bonds, and I forget what year it was, but I have it for you, so hold on. He played 19 seasons, but in the Midsummer's Classic, he remembered it was in Milwaukee. He robbed Barry Bonds of a home run, and it was one of the most celebrated plays. He came into the infield. Barry Bonds picked him up like, man, why'd you rob my home run? And that's when Barry was right at the peak of Barry, where he was chasing home run records. But there's a story that why that happened and why the situation was so important for Torrey Hunter, and I want y'all to take a listen to it. This is him with Ryan Clark on the pivot. So that's the reason why he went to rob Barry Bonds of his home run, because he tried to big league his brothers, and his brothers almost jumped on Barry Bonds at the All-Star game at the hotel.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So I just wanted to leave y'all with that, because I remember when it happened, and I thought it was one of the most amazing plays in an All-Star game.
That's great.
But now you hear the backstory of it, that really makes it even more so for him making that play in center field.
Wow. That's a fantastic story. That's wild right there, man. That was good stuff right there. I love it. All right, we come back. That's a nice Hard Knock Life there. We come back. We'll get into the billionaire cage match. We said we all wanted to see possibly Elon Musk and Zuckerberg go at it. And now Dana White, who is the best promoter in the world for combat sports, has decided he wants to make this happen. We'll hear from Dana White. He says it's a real possibility, and he wants your money. We'll come right back on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Austin is a beautiful city, thanks in no small part to the skilled craftsmanship of Ironworkers Local 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. Matter of fact, they've been helping build Austin since 1935. You might be driving by one of their iconic landmarks or the labors of their love right now and not even know it. DKR Stadium, the Pennybacker Bridge. And as our city continues to grow and thrive, so do our good friends at Ironworkers Local Union 482. And right now, if you're looking for an exciting new career path, maybe you're frustrated with your work choices, maybe you want something new, something fresh, something that will challenge you, you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. Right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people. That's right, 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas, and you can become a valued member of one of the most prestigious organizations here in Central Texas. That's Ironworkers Local 482. And then you can take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that help shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time for another edition of Off the Record. Yesterday, we spoke about the Twitter beef between two of the richest men in the world, Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook, and Elon Musk, who, well, I think he's actually kind of a Central Texan. At times, anyway, hangs out here in Central Texas. But the creator of Tesla and among other things, they started beefing on Twitter and started essentially calling each other out over each other's martial arts acumen and which one of them could win a cage match. This is real. So Dana White, who knows both men really well, I guess so. I mean, he's got Mark Zuckerberg in his phone. I guess he's got, Elon Musk in his phone. Must be nice. He was speaking to the TMZ Sports crew, about the beef between Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, who are now claiming they are both down for a celebrity cage match of some sort. Here is Dana White. I said it yesterday. Remember, I told you, I said it would be one of the most watched combat events in the history of sports entertainment. Dana White, who is the UFC CEO, he's also telling you, no, it wouldn't be one of the biggest fights in combat sports history. It would be the biggest fight in combat sports history. I think he's right. I think we'd all pay for it. There is a tone right now out there of this kind of collective disdain and hatred for people with wealth, with a lot of wealth. This could cater to that crowd. It'll cater to the masses who just love celebrity boxing and love kind of anything celebrity related, which is most of us. We know celebrity boxing has taken off in recent years. Hell, now Jake Paul, who considers himself to be like a social influencer, he claims he's making $10 million a fight from celebrity exhibition boxing matches. We know they're making a ton of money off of it because Floyd Mayweather doesn't do anything but exhibition fights now. I think there's a thirst for that too. Honestly, I don't know how serious they are about it. Harge, I think it may get my money. They might get my money.
It's getting mine.
Come on.
I'm in.
Make
with
it
you.
happen.
I'm trying to figure out why we still talking about it. Book it. Let's not talk about it. Be about it, Dana. You supposed to be the new Don King. Make it happen, man.
Got to check on the charities. Let's see what money they're actually giving towards.
They should get all of it to charity.
They should, but I want to make sure Elon's got the right charities locked down. I want to make sure that money's going to a good place because otherwise, I want to get the eye patch, get the peg leg if you catch my drift.
No, I feel you, but it should be easy enough to find charities. There are plenty of charitable organizations that need the hundreds of millions of dollars this is going to generate. So hopefully, you're right, Jack. That's not even something that'll hold it up. My question would be, because this is going to be one of the biggest boxing matches in history, it's going to be easy to create an awesome undercard.
Yeah.
And there are no real rules to the undercard because it's celebrity boxing. It's like a celebrity exhibition match. So we'll get some Buddy Mayweather on there. You could get Mike Tyson did one of these with Roy Jones.
Yes,
Remember?
he did.
How about this? Just so you know how sick we are and how much we love seeing these celebrity exhibition boxing matches. Roy Jones and Mike Tyson had a exhibition boxing match, and it was terrible, by the way. It was horrible. It got 1.6 million pay-per-view buys. That put it among the top 10 most watched and most bought combat sporting events in history. Think about that.
People are still clamoring for those guys to
I'm
come out
telling you.
there and do it.
Exactly.
But this will make it even more so.
Yeah, so put some of those guys on the card, all right? Put some celebrities on there too, and let's get this damn thing done, and you will get Robbie never pays for these fights. I will pay for it. You got me. You convinced me. You got me.
Come on
Take
down.
my money.
Yep.
Take my money.
I'm in.
And let me see these egotistical, narcissistic billionaires try to knock each other out. Yes. I'm
I
all
think
for it.
for part of the punishment, whoever is currently in charge of Ocean Gate, those two guys should have to fight each other, and that should be on this card as well.
The ones that are not dead.
Yeah, the ones that stayed on land,
Yeah,
those are the
you're
ones that
Put
got to do
guy
it.
out. You're right. Yeah, put him on the test.
That's part of the settlement.
This is
Gotta
about
watch 'em beat each
this is
other
about
up.
collective hatred and trying to find some way to maximize and monetize it. I'm telling you, if they make it happen, I'm in. I think we'd all be in. I wonder how many. I mean, what the pay-per-view buys. They would break all the records.
No doubt.
I believe the biggest record is Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, 4.6 million pay-per-view buys. They destroy that.
Oh, no doubt.
They would double that.
And I'm all in on it.
Oh,
I'm all in on it.
oh man. Well,
Yeah.
okay. This is the question. So, and I'll pose it to the Specs text line and you guys too. So, who do you want to see on the celebrity MMA fight? Because it could be MMA fighting. Somebody says not just boxing. It could be MMA because they're jiu-jitsu guys.
Yep.
They're into the
They're gonna try
martial
to
arts.
take you down.
So they said cage match. So who else do you want to see on the undercard of the celebrity MMA cage match that is happening between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk? And it could be damn near anybody. I mean, you can go WWE on this
Somebody
thing.
just sent us
Go
one.
boxing.
They said Peyton versus Brady.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yes. That's the kind of energy we need right there.
But you can't go after Peyton. Peyton got a neck injury. He ain't gonna be able to go out there and do that, man.
you're right
He's
about
already
that.
on the injury. Hey,
gotta
his
get-
medical might be bad.
We got to get Brady. We got to get Brady somebody else. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
boxing commission's not gonna. And they're not gonna
gonna
approve
wager on that.
They're not gonna approve that.
Yep.
All right. So and I like it though, Brady, because Brady might do it. We got to find somebody else to fight Brady though.
We do have to get somebody
Can
else.
Drew Brees fight Brady? Can you go Brees versus Brady? Is that sexy enough for you? Or do you need Peyton Manning versus
I
Brady?
think they're in different height classes too.
so
it's
is
fighting.
Elon Musk
I
and
know.
Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's like 5'8".
Yeah.
Elon Musk is like what 6'2", 6 something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Kanye and Pete Davidson.
Oh, yes. Kanye would definitely do it. That's what I'm talking about, people.
Yeah.
Kanye would definitely do it. And we all want to see Kanye get punched in the face. This is about who you want to see get punched in the face.
Scotty and Michael Jordan's son.
There you go. That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. That's
yeah.
what we need. All right, we'll come back. Specs text line wide open, 512-337-3776. Who do you want to see on the undercard of the celebrity cage match between Zuckerberg
Celebrity
and Elon
cage
Musk? Oh, it's going to be awesome, man. They charge whatever. I mean, right now,
Yeah.
I am willing to pay $100.
Yeah.
I'm willing to admit to y'all I'm paying.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I wouldn't admit something like that. I'm willing to admit I would pay $100. He could make it more than that, and I probably would have to go in on it with Harge.
You would have to.
We'd have to
Yeah,
Like, all right.
hey, just come to my house. We good.
I'll split it with you,
Yeah,
man.
we good.
I'll bring the wang.
There we go.
All right, we'll come back. We'll address that and also review the NBA draft. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful, nothing horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a 512 Friday edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. That's when my man Jack takes jams from local bands and artists that you have a chance to hear live right here in the ATX. Who we jamming right now? Jack?
These are the Peterson brothers. They're playing tonight at the Long Center, I believe. They're a pair of brothers who are extremely talented musicians, a guitar player and a bass player.
I like that. There you go. My man Jack hooking you up this weekend with some great locations to see a lot of really talented human beings. That's what 512 Friday is all about. 512-337-3776. That is the number to the Specs text line. You also can hit us up via Twitter. My man Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. My man Jack is at Jack A. Farrell. That is like Colin, not Will. And I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. You can hit me up. All right, and we'll get to the NBA draft review, but we did throw out a question to the listenership and to the Specs text line because we played the sound of Dana White, UFC head honcho, who basically has all the connections with combat sports all over the world, and he said he spoke with Mark Zuckerberg and also spoke with he spoke with Elon Musk, and he said both men are willing to face off in the ring in some type of MMA, steel cage match, whatever. And if this was indeed to become a reality, which, please, God, let it happen. We need this, all right? We got everybody's life is pretty hard. We would love to see some billionaires try to beat up on each other and fail miserably at it, but still look really foolish in the process. I think we all deserve this, okay? So if that wasn't need to happen, and by the way, Dana White says, and I said this yesterday too, and he agrees, it'll be the biggest fight in the history of combat sports. It'll generate more revenue than any other fight in the history of combat sports. I said it before I heard Dana White say that. I said it'll be one of. He said it'll be the. It'll be the top. It'll be the top record-breaking fight in the history of combat sports. If that was indeed to happen, no, let's be positive. When that indeed happens, when it happens later on this year, all right, when it happens, what match in this celebrity exhibition MMA cage match, what exhibition matches do you want to see on the undercard? Between what celebrities? All right, Specs text line, 512-337-3776.
I like that one right there.
Oh, Hunter Biden versus Don Jr. Honestly, I wasn't gonna let it get political, but that's brilliant. Right. I like that. Right. Yeah, I want to see that too. I would put that on there. That would increase the value. I'd pay some more money for that one. Someone says we gotta see Michael Jordan versus Pippen. Yeah, that thing is getting personal, man.
Yeah, it is.
Because
now she's about to get some bread, too.
Well, she's gotten bread from Pippen because she's got basically part of his, 401k?
Yes.
She's got like a piece of that.
His retirement. She gets a half of his retirement.
And now she is telling multiple people, because she is a real housewife from Miami, so I actually hear her talk way too much because my wife is a Bravo fan. She actually is telling people that she is looking potentially forward to having a kid that...
Come on,
with
man.
Marcus. I'm not making that up. I don't know if she can do it, but there's.
Oh, I'm sure she found a way.
And she's talking about taking the name and keeping the name, keeping the Pippen name, and taking the Jordan name. Because if she marries
Lars Pippen Jordan.
If she marries Marcus, the son, she'll be Larsa Pippen Jordan.
Oh my God.
And then MJ and Pippen would have to fight it out. It's like, man, you can't
definitely gonna do that.
You can't let your wife take my name, man. You got to do something about that.
You're going to have to handle that.
So that could be out there. The Kanye Pete Davidson one, I do like that. Oh, I love that. Someone says Steven versus Skip.
Stephen A versus Skip.
Stephen A versus Skip. I like that. Yeah. I like Stephen A versus Skip. Honestly, you can go. I guess Shannon Sharp versus Skip wouldn't be any fun.
That's not even a fight.
Yeah, because Shannon Sharp would just annihilate.
But Chip. Skip thinks that he is like one of the most in shape people on earth.
He does. I've seen him post pictures where he's shirtless, and I'm like, there's no reason for you to be shirtless at your age, Skip. Come on now, put a shirt on. Someone says Ye versus Drake. Kanye versus anybody would be pretty entertaining.
I think so too.
We all want to see Kanye get punched in the face, so we just want to see anybody get one good shot in on Kanye. And hopefully it knocks some sense into him, and that would be the hope. Someone says Jimbo versus Saban. I'm down with that. I like that.
I like it.
Yeah, Jimbo versus Saban would be good. Another person here says Rock versus Vin Diesel. Ooh.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
They don't.
They do not.
That would be. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Rock in that one.
Oh, I'm 1,000%
I'm gonna take the Rock in that one. Oh, here we go.
If you smell,
I like how this section's thinking. A little cat fight. It says Jessica Alba versus Scarlett Johansson Jello match. Well done.
I'm all in for that.
You know what? In my head, that has already played out a few times, so we already good on that. I know exactly what happens in that match.
Winning.
So it says Will Smith versus Chris Rock.
Perfect.
That is money.
Perfect.
Chris Rock don't want none of that though.
No, he's not trained for that.
Because
don't forget, Will Smith
did Ali.
Yeah.
He's already taken a few boxing classes. It's on that. The Pippen versus Michael Jordan's son. Yeah, that might be the one that we really need 100%. To see. That we possibly could make happen.
I think that's already been talked about. To be quite honest with you,
they definitely have talked about. For
sure.
Someone here says, I see that somebody wanted me to fight Zay. Listen, the only way I can beat Zay is in later rounds. If I try to fight Zay, he's gonna beat me in the first 2 or 3 rounds. He's just huge. He's got so much size on me. Yeah. If I can get him to round 4, he's gonna be tied. Zay's not in amazing shape. So he's not
gonna try to. He ain't gonna chase you.
That's what I'm saying. I'll make him chase me for 3 rounds, tire him out, rope a dope, and then boom, I come back hard and heavy. You know what I'm saying? In them later rounds. That would be how I would try to fight Zay. But I'm not saying I could beat. If Zay gets to me in them first 3 rounds, I'm in trouble. Because Zay's got a lot of size on your boy.
He ain't going 3-4 rounds. Though.
Someone says Jerry Jones versus Dan Snyder. Ooh,
that would be pretty good. No,
Dan Snyder's kind of much younger.
I was going to say that would be way too young.
Get him against Kraft. That's a better.
Yeah, someone
said
fight. That up earlier. Said him against Kraft would work well. I don't know if I want to see.
I want somebody to fight. Oh God, I just forgot his name.
Who do you want to see get punched in the face?
The commissioner, NFL commissioner.
Goodell. Oh, Goodell versus Adam Silver. Hey, Juan just said that. Adam Silver versus Roger Goodell. How about that?
Well, Silver is out of there.
You don't think he'll work with Silver?
You see how thin he is?
Oh.
He's 6'3", though. He's got the reach. He's 6'3".
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think Goodell's that big.
Yeah. The fight's about everybody's got their advantages, man. You just got to roll with it.
Got to figure out how it becomes your advantage.
There you go.
I like it.
Someone says Koepka versus DeChambeau.
Yep. I'm down with that.
Hey, man, golf got a couple of these that need to be worked out.
Yeah.
There's a couple of
golf. There's quite a few that need to be worked out.
Now needs to be worked out. Rory needs to work some golf beef out.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rory's been angry lately. Get him out there, too. All right, so there you go. That's our question for the day. Keep them coming. Specs text on 512-337-3776. Speaking of celebrity boxing matches or MMA matches, whatever, there was a story that was told this morning. I think E. Hogan was talking about it, about Boo Weekley and how he was young and he actually boxed an orangutan.
Yeah.
I had heard this story from other people. Obviously hearsay from other people. I never heard it from Boo Weekley. So I went and found the actual audio of Boo Weekley telling the story of him getting into a boxing match with an orangutan at some type of state fair. So we'll play that at one point just for the hell of it, since we're talking about boxing matches, because it is hilarious. And Jack pulled the audio for us. So we'll get into that. It's Fridays, and Hard's going on vacation. So we have no reason to really play it, but we're going to play it because it's funny as hell.
It is funny as hell.
Oh, man. It's your guaranteed laugh of the day to watch this dude tell the story about how he got knocked out by an orangutan. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, let's get to some NBA discussion here, some NBA talk, and talk about the lottery. Mostly because this is the first time you had all the Texas teams picking in the NBA lottery, because for the first time in history, you had all the NBA teams miss the NBA playoffs this past season. So let's talk about the Spurs first and foremost. They select Victor Wembanyama. Get used to saying the name. If not, just say Wemby, because they affectionately like to call him Wemby. And I did see that they also drafted another French player with their other pick, with the 44th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Sidi Sissoko, I believe is how you say his name. He is from the G League, but also a French player. So they got 2 French players. He's a 6'7" wing with a 6'10" wingspan. So he's pretty freakish in his own right. They traded the 33rd pick for 2 future second-round picks with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that's basically for the Spurs. That's how they ended up getting that 44th pick, and they decided maybe there's more value in getting multiple second-round picks in the future. But right now, man, the Spurs' young core is really, really impressive. I mean, both of those guys are 19 years old, I believe. And one thing also I thought was really interesting, going back to the fact that they picked both of these guys from France, second straight year that 4 or more French players were drafted in the same draft. This time, half of those players they were drafting, I think there were 5 actually this year. So almost half of those players were drafted to the San Antonio Spurs. And we know the French connection with them and Boris Diaw and Tony Parker. So I don't know if any NBA team has a bigger, better fan base overall and just a brand recognition overall in France than the San Antonio Spurs. And there have been this last little stat here to show you why the Spurs may be, formulating this pipeline and trying to maintain this pipeline to France. There have been more NBA players from France than any other country outside of North America. So there you go. France is the hotspot outside North America for international basketball. There is no country that produces NBA players at a higher rate outside of North America than France.
Think about this, too, and I know we were talking about San Antonio Spurs and the French connection. Did you realize that Bilal Coulibaly, yeah, was on the team with Wemby?
Yes.
That was when I found that out, I was tripping. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And he was an insane riser throughout the whole process.
Right.
Like he wasn't on board, really. Maybe a second round, but then he was. And everyone has been watching the Wemby clips, and he went 7 or 8.
Yeah, he went number 9. Yeah, he went number 7 to the Pacers.
And I heard the reason was, guys, that he had a crazy growth spurt.
Yeah, he was 6'1".
He grew like 8 inches.
Yeah,
he was like, they say he was like 5'11" 2 years ago.
Yep.
And now he's 6'8".
Yep.
So I think the growth spurt also had something to do with that too, and now he finds himself drafted in the lottery. So yeah, that's crazy too. It's wild to think about that.
Yeah,
they got swept.
Yes, and that's what my son kept telling me because we were having a heated debate about Wemby.
You and your son always have heated sports debates. I love it.
We had a heated debate about Wemby because they keep saying, "Oh man, he's not going to be great." I'm like, "Man, he's going to be great."
Your son says he's not going to be great.
Man, he said he's got to earn some of this stuff, and I was like, "No doubt about it." But there's nobody else. The only person that was drafted that was taller than him was Yao Ming. And Yao Ming was a true center. This guy plays the wings. Yeah. He's not in the middle of all that mess all the time. He's going to be able to do some special things. But his problem was he got swept in the playoffs, in the finals, and he got another guy on his team that was a top 10 pick. And he kept telling me, he kept going, "Dad, you kept saying he ain't have no help. You kept telling me he didn't have help on that team. This dude is drafted number 7 overall, and you gonna tell me he don't have help?" And I was like, "Go to your room."
Go. Sound like you can go there when you're frustrated with the sports debate with your son.
Exactly.
Go to your room.
Go to your room right now. Go to your room.
But no, I think that he's gonna work out. Like I said, I don't know if he's gonna be like Tim Duncan. I mean, that's a high standard to try to reach. But man, he has all the raw materials. Pop is all signs are pointing to Pop staying around to sign a contract for 3 or 4 years, just so that they can lay the foundation for Wemby's development. And they got a good young core around him. Right. I mean, Jeremy Sohan. You got to talk about guys like Devin Vassell. Blake Wesley and Malachi Branham. I mean, they got a good young core, guys. They'll bring in some other veterans, I'm assuming, but I think they're going to start with a young core.
Yeah, they should.
Just to see if they got something special, and if not, then I think they're going to fill in where needed. But, yeah, I mean, right now, the rebuild is done.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome? How long did that rebuild take, Spurs fans? How long was that?
Probably
was it a 3-year rebuild?
Yeah, 3 years.
3-year rebuild.
I think they first missed the playoffs in 2020.
So that was the first time.
So you stripped everything down, and it took y'all 3 years. Now you're on the backside of the rebuild, and
championship.
Yeah,
that's what they're thinking right now.
It's amazing.
I don't think he'll be ready offensively day one. I know all the clips are out there, but clips are misleading. He only shot 27% from 3.
Yeah,
so
but
I know he's shooting off one leg and all that thing, but I think offensively he won't be ready, or rather he will be more ready on the defensive end than he will be on the offensive end from the jump.
Yep, I agree with
I mean,
that.
offensively, his ceiling is
it's
unheard
roof.
of. But
I just can't wait to see because I think you're right about the offensive, just kind of his offensive acumen in the league, and I think it'll take him a while to kind of adjust to the NBA. Banging around, just the style of it and all that kind of stuff. But the physical wow plays he is going to make, just stuff that you've never seen a guy that size be able to do.
Right.
The dexterity and the coordination of a guy that size. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And it's going to be kind of must-see television.
And he has
Must-watch
landed in
television.
San Antonio, folks. He is an SA right now.
Yeah.
And
Got
they
a
are
water
going
parade.
crazy. Got a water
Give him
parade
a water
when he
parade.
landed.
Since we're talking about the San
Isn't
Antonio
there a
Spurs,
drought? What they wasting all that water for?
there should be some water restrictions. We've had actually a pretty wet season so far, so I think maybe it's not the restrictions that we usually under. But I will say also Serge-Ibaka Rice signed with the San Antonio Spurs too. Throw that out there.
Love it.
So he signed a 2-way contract with them, which means he's also going to work with the Austin Spurs, but also he'll get called up every now and then. He can get called up at any time. So you'll get a chance to see Serge-Ibaka Rice if you're an Austin Spurs fan, and you might get maybe a little taste of Wemby. Maybe a little Wemby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just in case, a little Wemby there.
Yeah.
If they decide to do that. So, congrats to all the Spurs fans, man. He's been great. Actually, let's get to the Rockets because I want to talk about the Rockets a little bit, too, before we get to Rod throughout the day. I thought the Rockets actually had a really good draft and by the way, I'll give props to my man Jack because he said he wanted them to draft Amen Thompson with that 4th overall pick. That's exactly what they did. And he's from that OT Elite league that's in Atlanta. They drafted him number 4, but that actually wasn't the biggest story for the Rockets. The biggest story for the Rockets was the fact they drafted Cam Whitmore. And from Villanova, they drafted him with the 20th overall pick. Whitmore was seen as a guy projected to be drafted in the lottery, but based on some negative evaluations, some negative, reported negative evaluations, reported negative interviews, and some medical evaluations that apparently were not up to par and up to the standard of a lot of teams, he dropped precipitously out of the lottery to 20. Yep. There was even reports that the Rockets were going to trade up for him in the lottery once they picked, and they saw him kind of falling a little bit. They were going to trade up, but then once he started to drop out of the lottery, they thought, man, let's be patient. He might drop to 20. That's exactly what he did.
Yep. Yeah, and
That's
that was
crazy.
perfect. And that was the guy that everybody continues to look at and say, what is going on? Why did he drop? Why did he drop? Well, it worked out because he had bad interviews. He had bad work ethic from what people were saying
Just
initially.
reports, yeah.
Didn't look like he was engaged with any of the workouts or, I'm not happy to be there, whatever. But then there was also the information that was out there that he might have some cartilage issues with his knees. Mm-hmm. But even if that is so, I don't think it's going to affect him in the early part of his career. Maybe later, he might get some tendonitis, might have some things that are going on. But right now, I think the biggest move for him was be thankful that you landed in Houston because there's no pressure. But you do have a chip on your shoulder now because you thought you were going to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, that's a good point. They do got a guy with a chip on his shoulder. I love that pick. Jack, you're a Rockets fan. I mean, you wanted the Amen Thompson, so you got your Amen Thompson. But how about the added bonus of getting a lottery projected guy to fall to you at 20?
I mean, there was talk maybe a week or two ago, if that Cam Whitmore was a serious contender for the number 4 pick. They were looking at him that high. He slides all the way down to 20. Based on injuries, I don't know if he's got Brandon Roy knees or something, but
remember,
look
Brandon
at Michael.
Roy was
he was
cold-blooded,
nice, but
too.
look at Michael Porter Jr. now. He had all these fears about his back. I think injuries a lot of times in the draft process get kind of overrated and overlooked.
I agree.
If you told me that Cam Whitmore was going to be on this team with Houston, I would be like, what did we have to give up to trade that high into the lottery? You didn't have to give up anything, and now your wing room, which maybe looked a little sparse, is like the strength of the team. You got Cam Whitmore. You have Jabari Smith, who was the number 3 overall pick last year. Tari Eason, who was the best rookie on the Rockets last year, made an all-rookie team. You have an insane, probably the most athletic backcourt in the league now with Amen Thompson and Jalen Green. Şengün is a unicorn. You don't know what you have with him. The future is bright in Houston.
Yeah, they got
Future's
really,
bright.
Yeah, they got a really nice young core now. You just went through the list of them, and they got like $60 million in cap space, so they can do something. There's actually talk, and I heard Adrian Wojnarowski bring it up at the draft. I had the clip, but we'll just table that. He just said that the Rockets might be in the Brook Lopez.
I don't get that
conversation.
fit.
You don't
I
like
want
it?
I like Brook Lopez.
Okay.
But I love Şengün. I don't know if like Baby Jokic. He's like the Charmander. Have you seen that? He's the Charmander, and then Sabonis is the Charmeleon.
Yeah,
and then Jokic is the Charizard. For anyone who knows anything about Pokemon,
hey man,
sorry
I know
about
Pokemon,
that,
baby. Yeah,
but yeah, like I'm super high on Şengün. If you look at his tape, you would think that he's the best young prospect in the league, and I just don't understand why you would bring in somebody who fits terribly with him that you're going to have to spend a bunch of money on. I would rather go and get, like the Mavs just got, somebody like Richaun Holmes, somebody who's cheaper, who's going to fit better with your young, extreme talent, and just, it messes up. I feel like throwing a bunch of money at a superstar can mess up your rebuild. I mean, look at how promising the Minnesota rebuild was, and then they went and just were like, let's go get Rudy Gobert for some reason, and it's been a disaster.
That's a good point. I mean, that's why the Spurs, I think, maybe going with their young core and saying, let's see if our young core actually can, come together and maybe thrive a little sooner, flourish a little sooner than expected.
Yep.
And the Rockets, right, and that's the point that Jack just brought up, is now a lot of places you thought were going to be weaknesses now are strengths. You may be ahead of schedule now. Because of Cam Whitmore dropping in your lap, you got another guy that was worthy of being a lottery foundational piece to build upon, and now you got that along with Amen Thompson. So for the Rockets too, your rebuild is also over. The Spurs rebuild is over. It didn't take us long, but the Rockets rebuild should be done as well.
I should actually point out the Rockets rebuild was shorter than the Spurs rebuild. Rockets won a playoff series in 2020. Spurs didn't make the playoffs in 2020.
Okay,
that's right.
All right, Jack.
I'm sorry, I get this soapbox. People like to slander the Houston rebuild.
That's a good
and it's
point.
been very short. I mean, look at teams like Detroit, who have sucked my whole life. Well, the most recent 15 years of my life. They won a championship when I was 4.
I was going to say, I mean, they won, though.
No, that's a great point, though, about the rebound. I didn't think about that. I'm a Rockets fan, but I didn't think about it either.
Or Charlotte, or the Kings, who are finally good now. Or, there's a bunch of teams.
But to be fair, a lot of these teams have never won anything, so they don't have the same threshold or the same fan base that is savage.
Expectations
in the market.
Like in the market.
Exactly.
Huge. Houston is a team that has history of championships. San Antonio, obviously, a team with championships. So the mindset of a lot of people are, you're not allowed to rebuild. You got to keep reloading.
Yeah, pretty much.
And especially with all the turnover that you guys have had with the coaching staffs and things like that. So that's the other part of the conversation, too.
Yeah, nobody has patience anymore. Remember, that's what Michael Malone, the coach of the Denver Nuggets, that just won a title. That's one of the first things that he was grateful for.
Yep.
He's like, I'm just thankful you got the patience, because I probably should have been fired 2 or 3 years ago based on the trends of the NBA. Nobody has patience for anymore, but paid off for them. The Mavericks, they weren't very patient in this draft. They were very active in this draft and aggressive. Paid off for them, too. They had a series of moves in the draft. The first one was they traded down from the 10th pick to the 12th pick, and it still led to the prospect that most people thought they were looking at, Derek Lively, the center out of Duke. And they got him at a lower slot, better value. Then they used the trade exception because they did, in that trade Davis Bertans. So they dumped some salary, a much-needed salary dump for him. And as the trade exception they got in that Bertans trade, they also got added Richaun Holmes, who Jack says is a guy that he was really, really high on. And with that 24th pick that they got, they had drafted Olivier Maxence Prosper.
Yep.
Who is out of Marquette, who I think they probably want to develop into potentially a 3-and-D guy.
They need that.
That's what they need.
That is they need.
Well,
that is a need that is huge for them.
To Jack's point, they addressed both of their needs.
Yep.
Because they got rid of their 3-and-D guy in the trade to get Kyrie, and I think they at least are going to project.
Was that Mikal Bridges?
Huh?
No, not Bridges.
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah.
And now maybe they project this guy could be that in the future. He does have great defensive acumen and defensive habits. As a three-point shooter, only shooting close to 34% from three, but before his junior year, he was only shooting 28%. So he's working on it and getting a lot better. So maybe they project that's going to continue. And also, they end up getting big men. They got their big men, the Duke center, and Derek Lively, and then they got Richaun Holmes too.
Yeah.
So That was a good day for the Mavs.
I like it. I like the moves, especially because they need a guy in the middle to try to protect the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when they were winning championships, they had rim protectors. They had Tyson Chandler that was in the middle. And then Mark Cuban decided, we're going to make it move and get rid of Tyson Chandler. I'm like, that's the reason why you won.
Yeah.
Because you had somebody where Dirk didn't have to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
You can move Dirk around and let him not have to be in the middle because you had a true rim protector. So that's the other part of it, too.
I agree with that. Texter here says, Prosper, legalize it. Prosper is the new Finney Smith. Yeah, I figure he's kind of a Dorian Finney-Smith starter kit for him. He's great playing passing lanes as an active off-ball defender. He's a junkyard dog. Dials for balls, that kind of thing. That stuff is natural in him. I think they got to cultivate the three-point shot, but he seems to be on the right trajectory there. And we saw Dorian Finney-Smith get better at the three-pointer.
No doubt.
He improved it from behind the three-point line.
Somebody said Bucky should fight Jurassic Monty.
Oh, yes. Honestly, who are you going with there? I'm going to have to go with Jurassic Monty.
Monty just got a new knee. So Monty's going to be able to move, or his hip. So he'll be ready to go.
And Bucky's got like multiple surgeries he's had on his back. And
he still got some things going on.
Who's older, Monty or Bucky?
Well, if you listen to their show,
The Old Man Radio,
The Old Man Radio.
Wow, that's
I think
a good
they're
one.
on together.
Yeah,
I think they're on together.
Bucky versus Monty. I would pay money for that. I would.
And CB sent us on Twitter. He said Vince Young versus Jeff Fisher.
There'll be a no contest.
Exactly.
Jeff Fisher would get pounded into oblivion. Okay, we come back. We'll play the audio of Boo Weekly talking about getting beat up by an orangutan and a trend I've noticed about recruiting in the great state of Texas. I'll share that with you as well on the eve of a big recruiting weekend for Texas football right here on 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Arch here, and I want to talk to you about my friends over at Quick Roofing. I was with the guys from Quick Roofing today, and they were telling me that business has never been better. I know we've had some crazy weather from time to time, and that's why Quick Roofing is the place that you need to go. Go to quickroofing.com right now. Jeff Quick started Quick Roofing 39 years ago, and the reason for Quick Roofing staying in business that long is because they take care of their customers, and they have a great reputation of customer service. Here are some of the reasons why I believe that you should choose Quick Roofing. You get a free, no-obligation inspection. Quick Roofing also requires a project manager on every job site, ensuring that you, the customer, get everything that you were promised. Quick Roofing is fully insured and have all state and local license. Quick Roofing doesn't even require any money up front until 100% completion and, of course, 100% satisfaction. And with all of that, you get a 7-year workmanship warranty. So what are you waiting for? Reach out today and get that free inspection. Go to quickroofing.com today.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. All right, I just got a little factoid I want to share, but other than that, I want to share this clip though of Boo Weekley on with Faraday. So I heard E. Hogan and Bucky talking about this story this morning. It was funny. Just them telling the story was funny. And so I went and retrieved the audio of Boo Weekley telling the story himself, since we're talking about celebrity MMA, face-offs and cage matches and bouts and things of that nature. Basically, Boo Weekley, the golfer, tells the story of him getting into a boxing match with an orangutan. It is the stuff of legend, and it is hilarious. So, in honor of our conversation about, hey, what celebs do you want to see fighting what other celebs in exhibition matches and cage matches, here is Boo Weekley.
With the orangutan.
It happened a lot. It happened when we was in freshman year of high school. Fair there in Milton, and we was out there, got out of school, and we went out there to check it out. And there's a sandbar down at the end of where I reckon the circus part of it is. You just drive right past it, and it goes down to a sandbar. That's where we camp out, party at when we was kids and fish. And we were just sitting around there, and about this time, this guy pulls up in this flatbed truck and unloads this cage, and then hollers at something, and then all of a sudden this orangutan comes out, and he walks around the side there, and next thing you know, he starts hollering 5 for 50. You had to sign a little waiver and put headgear on, put gloves on, and that orangutan is in the corner over there. And you got like a little lip that you got to step over to get in, and I kind of got in there. And I'm telling you, but like it wasn't maybe 20 feet, well, probably about 30 feet from where my truck was parked to where the cage was. And of course, you got all your buddies sitting there hollering, hooping at you like, kick his ass, Seabass, kick his ass. I was in there shuffling around like Muhammad Ali. Back then, I was fit. Now I'm more of a Humpty Dumpty. But back then, it was fun. And then I went in there and went to swing and hit him. And next thing I know, I woke up in the back of my truck. And I sat up, and they kind of poured like what left of a beer on me. And I kind of sat up, and I was bleeding out of my nose. And I kind of looked around like, how did I get here? And they was like, man, you got knocked out. And I was like, well, what hand did he hit me with? They said, you never seen it? You could hear the wind off of it when it hit you.
That is fantastic. Getting knocked out by an orangutan. I don't know if there's a better story in sports than getting knocked out by an orangutan.
This is not any which way but loose.
Come on,
have
man.
you seen Right Turn, Clyde? You know what I'm saying? You don't want any of that smoke. Clyde was knocking people out for a long time on any which way you look.
So you can bring that orangutan to the Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk MMA cage match, celebrity cage match, and you can have the orangutan fight Boo Weekley again, a rematch. Mm-hmm. So now we know about it. That could happen too. Some of the other the texters on the Specs Text line suggested that Draymond Green and Jordan Poole should be on the undercard of the Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg celebrity face-off. I like that. That would work.
I would definitely watch that one too.
Yeah, because I think I read that they looked up whether Jordan Poole was following Draymond Green right after the trade. He had already stopped following him. Because he was following him before that. As soon as he got traded, one of the first things he did was unfollow Draymond Green. He's like, hell no, I ain't got to follow this dude no more. I hate this dude. So keep them coming on the Specs text line. Your thoughts on who should be on the undercard of the Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk celebrity MMA cage match that's going to happen. By the way, Dana White's the one that says he's talked to both and they want to do it. Yep. There you go. Someone says Pat Beverly versus Westbrook.
Ooh,
I like that.
I like that one too.
That's not bad. I'm on. Someone says Major Applewhite versus Chris Sims. Well done.
I like that.
Longhorn fans would pay good money to get that thing settled in the ring and have it done with. So there's some other ones. Keep them coming on Specs X line 512-337-3776. Yeah, I do like that long time with that Bucky versus Jurassic Monty. I'm still breaking that one down.
Yeah, you still trying to figure out how's this going to break down?
How that one's going to break down. Someone did bring up Conor McGregor and Mike Tyson would be a good one.
Nah.
You don't think it'll be a good one?
No.
No?
No.
Who you think would win it?
Mike Tyson.
Okay.
I think he still has that savagery. You know what I'm saying? You can't go out there and beat up a mascot and then think you're going to beat up Mike Tyson.
No.
Yeah, Mike Tyson, I've seen his workouts lately.
No, Mike Tyson is still, to me, one of the scariest human beings on the planet.
And think about it.
Still to
Remember
this day.
when Conor did his little boxing match and how they weren't really trying to fight? And everybody kept saying, oh, Conor's really good with his hands and he's a good fighter. Let him fight Mike Tyson.
Let him fight Mike Tyson.
You want to see how good people's hands really are? Get in the ring with Mike Tyson.
No, people are still obsessed with Mike Tyson. You go look at like the all-time highest rated or all-time biggest pay-per-view events. Mike Tyson is still. It's just a list of Mike Tyson, Money Mayweather, and man, honestly, those are probably the two most frequent names that appear on the top 25 most watched or highest rated pay-per-view combat sports.
Yeah.
They appear a ton.
Yep.
And it's just because people still have a fixation about Mike Tyson. He was the most feared human being on the planet at one time. And he still is.
He's still, I mean, like you just said, he still bothers me.
And I still, to this day.
And I like the new Mike.
I do believe Mike Tyson, it's hard to find a better redemption story. And people were like, whoa, what about, think about it. Mike Tyson went to jail for sexual assault.
Yes.
That gets you canceled these days.
Oh, for sure.
Nobody's canceled Mike. Matter of fact, the things that Mike used to literally say to female reporters, I will not do interviews with you unless I can fornicate with you first. He would say that. You can look it on YouTube. I mean, this guy was a walking psychopath.
Yeah, he was a walking
right? And now
HR nightmare.
Yeah, and now he's doing one-man shows on Broadway and in Vegas that people go see. When you see him make cameos in movies, people love Mike Tyson. People tell their kids to go take pictures with Mike Tyson when they see him because they love Mike Tyson.
Yep.
I don't know if we've had a better redemption story than that.
Oh, man.
I mean, think about where he came from.
It's true. It's true.
The guy was bit off another man's ear in the ring. We all know he's a psychopath.
I was in a bad place.
And now
at
you
the
would
time.
let your kids go hang out with Mike Tyson and kick it.
You think he
Sit on that lap like Santa Claus.
You think he's a good babysitter?
People trust Mike Tyson now. It is crazy. It was like, that's a great redemption story. I don't know who else has turned their life around to the extent went to prison.
Right.
And then now it's considered
became that dude.
A beloved, family-friendly household name.
Right.
What?
I'm with you.
That's crazy.
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? And there's still like video evidence of him saying crazy stuff.
Right.
Like wild stuff.
I'm with you. Every time I watch Mike Tyson, I'm still trying to figure out
it's a great story.
how he is still Mike Tyson.
It's a great story. I mean, it really is.
Redemption, right?
It truly is one of the greatest.
Redemption.
I think it's the greatest redemption story in sports. Okay, real quick, since we got a little time here. There's a big recruiting weekend happening for Texas football this weekend.
Yes.
We don't talk a ton of recruiting on the show. But I did find this interesting. So according to like On3 rankings for 2024, in the state of Texas, 9 of the top 25 players in the state are committed to schools, not Texas or Texas A&M. None of those committed to Texas A&M. So now the top 25 players in the state are committed to schools, but none of those are Texas or Texas A&M.
Right.
And these are the top 25 players in the state. If you expand that list to the top 50, 23 of the top 50 players in the state are committed. Only 3 to Texas or Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the top 50, 0 of the top 25. Now, that is going to change. I'm assuming everybody's rankings are different, by the way. But hell, right now, if you look at 247 Sports and their team rankings, hell, Texas Tech is actually the highest-ranked Big 12 team.
Right.
20th.
Right.
There's all this talk about the 5-star receiver, Micah Hudson, that apparently likes Tech or something like that.
Yeah, he's the one. He's playing in the 7-on-7. He was supposed to be in Texas this weekend, but he's playing in the 7-on-7, and he said he's not going to make the trip to the University of Texas.
Yeah.
So,
because Tech's got some momentum now, and I looked at On3 has Tech, I think 20th overall, just like Horns 24/7, but they have Oklahoma at 19, so Oklahoma is the highest ranked Big 12 team by those rankings. So it's interesting that you got to focus on Texas. I've been keeping up with this for a while. If you go look at since 2020, so we're talking about 4 drafts in that time span, 20, 21, 22, and 23. If you go look at players that have produced the most NFL draft picks, Florida's first. Texas is first with 128. Florida is second with 116. Then Georgia, 95 draft picks since 2020. Then California with 85. And then in between California and like Louisiana, because Louisiana's at 44, Actually, the city of Dallas, basically DFW, produces more NFL players since 2020 draft picks than Louisiana. Basically, DFW would be fifth.
Right.
It'd be, if you looked at states that produce the most NFL players, DFW will be only behind Florida, Texas, Georgia, and California. That's it.
I like it.
And Houston's got 40. Houston's probably still in the top 10. So, man, the state of Texas is always producing a ton of talent. Right now, Texas seems to be getting more than usual out of the state, but they'll close strong. They always do. All right, we'll close strong on this hour. We'll come back. Talk about Rob Manfred putting his foot in his mouth. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Harge here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at the Lee Kitchen and Tavern. The Lee Kitchen and Tavern specializes in chef-inspired comfort food that is made from scratch in 4 Austin area locations: Avery Ranch, Bee Cave, Belterra, and Lakeway. And by the way, nothing is more comforting than fresh burger and fries. The League's gourmet burgers are ground in-house and made from scratch. The burger of the month is the Luau Burger, so make sure you go by and grab one. And if you don't want just a burger and fries, the League offers so many fresh, inspired chef specials that always will be there for you. You can pair it with the cocktail of the month. The Lee Kitchen and Tavern, with 4 Austin area locations, lunch or dinner are just around the corner from you. You can browse the menu and the monthly specials at leekitchen.com. That is leekitchen.com.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. 512 Friday. That's when my man Jack takes jams from local bands and artists, very talented human beings that you have a chance to hear live right here in the ATX. Who are we jamming right now, Jack?
These are Los Curados, and they will be at the Flamingo Cantina tonight. Some Spanish language ska. for you.
I like that. There you go. I'm already feeling the groove. 5125, that's what it's all about. 512-337-3776. That's the number to the Specs text line. We'll continue to entertain some of the options and some of your recommendations for who should fight on the undercard of the Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk billionaire cage match face-off that is going to happen. Looking forward to that. Someone here says on the Specs text line, okay, Michael Vick versus Lassie. All right,
come on, man. That's doing too much.
Lassie died decades ago. All right, you want to put Michael Vick versus a dog in the modern era? It would have to be versus. It could be versus Reveille.
Right? That could be. Oh, that's too much.
Really?
That's too much.
What?
Just because we're going to the SEC and we're playing A&M again, go out to Reveille. I like it.
All right, so keep those coming on the Specs text line 512-337-3776. Real quick, this Rob Manfred story is troubling and a little confusing because we don't understand why Rob Manfred is talking about the scandal in which he obviously sanctioned the Astros, and he's bringing this up again in an interview with Time Magazine. So I'm not sure they don't bring up the actual question that was asked. So I'm not sure why he's talking about the scandal, but he implies that he has regrets about the way he handled the electronic sign stealing scandal from the Astros. He says here, quote, "I'm not sure that I would have approached it with giving players immunity. Once we gave players immunity, it puts you in a box as to what exactly you were going to do in terms of punishment. I might have gone about the investigative process without that grant of immunity and see where it takes us. Starting with, I'm not going to punish anybody. Maybe not my best decision ever." I don't know how you get guys to go on the record and be truthful with you unless they have the promise of immunity. So for him, I don't know, it might have been kind of a catch-22. I don't know, Harge, how you get guys to trust you without saying, well, I need to make sure that I can avoid any consequences or any suspensions or any type of issues that arise from me being forthcoming with you and being honest with you.
Right. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, you had to give it to him.
You had to, because I'm not fixing to give you all this information that you are already tripping on me about. You already got us in the crossfires, so why would I even talk about it? We deny until we lie.
Yeah, I mean, you want me to incriminate myself.
Right.
I mean, I'll plead the fifth up in there, but it's
Exactly.
not a legal system. But I'm sure they had representation from the Players Association.
Absolutely.
That were advising them, saying, guys, you don't say a damn thing unless he promises you
something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless he promises you that you will be, free of any consequence.
Yep.
That you basically won't incriminate yourself with whatever information you decide to divulge.
Yep.
So I don't understand why he's been bringing this up, because the assumption by all of us is you wouldn't have got players to get on the record and give you any information unless you gave them immunity.
No doubt about it.
He's regretting that.
No doubt about it.
Just let it go.
Shouldn't have been talking about it, man.
No,
just
Rob
keep it
Manfred,
moving.
You should be talking, but be talking about your legacy moment, which is the rule changes that you were bullish on implementing that nobody really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wanted, but most of the traditions in baseball, they hated. They thought you were wrecking the game. You were changing the game forever. They thought it would be a disaster. Nope, it wasn't a disaster. The games are shorter, duration is down, and the scoring is up. The games are better. You got great storylines. You got Shohei Ohtani. You got a guy hovering around 400. You got great storylines happening in Major League Baseball. Why the hell are you talking about the Astros scandal? Astros don't want you talking about it. Baseball fans don't want you talking about it. Nobody wants you talking about it.
Agreed.
About your regrets. Why? Talk about your legacy moment, which is the rule changes, which is what you should be trying to change the narrative.
Because we're trying to bring more people in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about that. That's the biggest thing in Major League Baseball right now, not the past.
I agree.
And the scandals from the past.
I agree.
What are you doing?
Tripping is what they're doing.
And now you got us talking about your ineptitude.
As my man Rob was saying, he almost had me to believe in Rob Manfred.
Come on.
Until Rob Manfred goes out there and says, you know what? I probably shouldn't have been as easy on them as I was. What?
Come on, man.
Keep it moving, bro.
Have you ever watched a debate with politicians? Redirect.
Exactly.
They ask you a question, and you change the narrative, change it really quickly.
Exactly.
All right, you redirect to your rule change and be like, yeah, we've had some missteps in Major League Baseball. Of course, all great companies and all people have them. But what we're really excited about is the future of Major League Baseball. We've changed the rules to make it a game that is more palatable to the masses and to the youth of society. And we cannot wait to see the return that we're going to see on the investments that we made in the future of Major League Baseball. Talk like that, man. It's put into a Chat GPT.
Yep.
And just speak out whatever the hell it spits out. But don't talk about the scandal.
Talk about it. Talk about
Do politicians talk about their scandals? No. They talk about other stuff.
No.
If you're a politician, avoid the scandal conversation. Change the conversation.
Change the conversation.
All right. That's enough Rob Manfred talk. We'll come back. We'll get into, actually, I want to get into a lot of different topics. We'll get into some NFL news, notes, and nuggets into 6 o'clock because we haven't addressed those yet. Also, Quinn Ewers, a scouting report from a former NFL head coach, who's also a quarterback guru, who has written up a scouting report about Quinn Ewers, and we'll actually dive into it and see if any of his analysis aligns with our own. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. It is officially the weekend. You know what the weekend's all about. It's all about good times. And if you're talking about good times, you're talking about the sure sign of a good time. That's Bud Light. It turns good times into great times and the rest of the times into the best of times. That's why it's my favorite light beer. It's the world's favorite light beer. So remember, if you want to get the good times going, just keep that Bud Light flowing. And as I get older, I realize, there are some things that I got to leave in the past, that I'm ready to leave in the past, like cancel culture, the Big 12, social distancing. But one thing I'll never leave in the past is Bud Light, my favorite beer. So, folks, remember, when you're heading home, getting ready to enjoy the weekend, pick up a nice ice-cold case of Bud Light. Or when you're getting ready to go out and enjoy a happy hour, make sure you enjoy the sure sign of a good time. Maybe it's about the nightlife for you, enjoying that great Austin nightlife. Hey, Bud Light fits any and every occasion, including that great Austin nightlife. Or maybe you're just going home this weekend and you got some yard work you got to do. Maybe you're going to get something on the grill. Whatever you're doing, trust me, it's a perfect time to cool off with a nice ice cold Bud Light. It's my choice, should be yours too. Brewed deep in the heart of Texas by Texans for Texans, and proud of it.
One look at me and you'll be in the spot. Bring your tambourine and your soul's revived. Bust the dirt off as the souls collide. Better hold on, cause we on a ride. I'm in the gut.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a 512 Friday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when my man Jack takes jams from local bands and artists, very talented human beings, and based on the jams that are played, he gives us a way that we can see these very talented human beings live and in person right here in the ATX. Who are we jamming right now, Jack?
This is Riders Against the Storm with a live recording of their song Holy Water. They will be at Antone's tonight.
Oh, nice. That's who you thought it was?
That is not who I thought it was. That is
Hart
not
said
who I thought
he knew who this was.
I thought I did.
But there you go. That's how many talented folks there are here in the ATX. That's what 512 Friday is all about. 512-337-3776. You also can hit us up via Twitter. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. My man Jack is at Jack A. Farrell in the Twitterverse. That is like Colin, not like Will. You can hit me up in the Twitterverse at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. Keep in mind, last hour that Harge will be doing the show for the next 7 shows. Harge is taking next week off, and then we have the July 4th holiday week to start.
Just threw that at me like that,
and no, so people will know, and they can wish you like a happy
farewell
vacation.
Yeah.
And then we start the week July 4th weekend off. We're off that Monday, and July 4th is on a Tuesday. So. Just so y'all know, Harge won't be around for a while. He's going to enjoy his vacation.
Yeah.
So Harge got a lot of jobs, and he's finally going to take a vacation from all of them.
Which
is rare. Usually he takes a vacation from one job, and then he goes to work another job.
Yeah, which is rare.
Yeah, so now it's a rarity, so he's going to enjoy himself. But he's also going to be, out there working another job as a dad, because you got to coach up the son, because you're going out there for his tournament, right?
Yeah, for a soccer tournament, nationals.
So... Yeah. But it'll be fun just to be a family man for a week or so. You have to worry about a job and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You deserve it, brother. All right, let's get to this story from Mark Trestman. And Mark Trestman is a former NFL head coach, former NFL offensive coordinator, offensive mind, quarterback guru. He's been doing some work for the 33rd. It is a website devoted to the NFL, covering the NFL. And obviously 32, they're the 33rd team. That's kind of what they call themselves, so 33rd. And out of the 32 teams. And he did a breakdown about Quinn Ewers. Just did his own write-up. He watched 5 games. I believe the games he watched were Alabama, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Baylor, and Washington. He watched those 5 games and just gave his analysis and evaluation on Quinn Ewers. And I thought some of this was really intriguing. I wanted to see if it matched up with some of the observations and some of the analysis that we have had on this show about Quinn Ewers and really about the Sark offense. So the first thing I thought was interesting that stood out, he talks about Sark's offense. He said Texas offense philosophy give Quinn Ewers opportunity to show his impressive arm talent by throwing the ball all over the field from drop back, play action, and movement passes to the right and left. He also pointed out, this is his quote, while I saw evidence of Ewers getting through progressions, he was typically only asked to read half the field while in the pocket. That actually does track with some of the film study that I've done. Typically, Ewers gets in trouble or gets anxious, discombobulated when he has to go past his second read. Pretty much was Sark kind of kept it to a 2-read, basically as a 2-read quarterback last year. And a lot of predetermined throws last season for Quinn Ewers, I think, for Sark to try to make it easy as possible for him to digest, but also to try to decipher what the defense was doing. He would just simplify it for him and give him either a half-field read, 1 to 2 read progressions, or a predetermined throw. And that's why at times it would seem like he was forcing the ball into places, and at times it would also seem like he would panic if the first or second option was gone, because I don't think he actually went through a lot of the 4 progressions. And maybe that's because Sark wanted to bring him along slowly, but that does track with what I've said, that he's a 2-read quarterback right now. But he'll get to the point where he can get to a full progression. But I don't think Sark wants him to be working full progression reads now, because he ain't played. This is his first season playing football in 2 years. And I think Sark wants to bring him along slowly. And part of that was simple, predetermined reads and throws. This year, I expect that to be very different. Right.
So do I. And I've been talking about that for quite some time. I think that this is going to be the best Quinn Ewers that we've seen. Obviously, it's only the second season that we're going to see him, but the breakdown that he's getting from all these other quarterback coaches across the nation that have been breaking down film and all talking about it, and, of course, his own coach in his own locker room, they have all seen this and trying to figure out how can we help him. So I believe we're going to get the best that we've seen of Quinn Ewers, and the upside, which we've all talked about, is unexplainable because it's that talented. I mean, it can definitely be achieved. And I think, too, as a competitor, his mindset is I got to be better, too, because the conversations have been on him and about him, and this guy was the number one quarterback coming out of high school. And almost a perfect rating at one point. So this guy knows what it's like to compete and what he needs to do. He also realized this ain't high school no more, Dorothy. You can't be clicking your heels over there anymore. Now you have to go out there and you're playing like athletes. So go out there and step your game up, and I think he will.
Yeah, I think he will too. I do think he struggled to read defenses last year only because he hadn't had a lot of reps doing it at a high level, because the last full season he had played was his junior year in high school. I think this year it'll clean up some of those reads for him, and I think he'll digest and process things a lot quicker. Another piece in this. Another excerpt from this piece from the 33rd team about Quinn Ewers. It says, what separates Texas' passing game from other college offenses is Sarkisian's use of 6, 7, and 8-man protections as an offensive coordinator. The ability to understand and vary protections during a game is a top priority. These heavier protection schemes allow quarterbacks to take deeper dropbacks and throw to deeper and more established routes, which we know that's Sark, right? He loves the deep ball. I call him a big game hunter. He's not going to settle for the small game. He's going out hunting. It ain't for dove. It ain't for quail. All right? He's going out there hunting for big game. And I think at times it can be disadvantageous to him and his quarterback and get Texas in trouble. I always say, don't go chasing waterfalls. Well, I don't say that. I am quoting the TLC song. But and when it applies to Sark, he'll chase the deep ball, and to me, that's chasing waterfalls. And oftentimes he'll go right off the cliff chasing that damn deep ball. And he's working backwards, deep ball early on, and first to put the really plant the seed of fear and doubt into the defense, make them less aggressive, put them on their heels, and then he works backwards. Deep ball, then the short game, then the intermediate game. I think he should start with the short game, start with the intermediate game, start with the more advantageous high percentage throws to get his quarterback confident, get his quarterback in a rhythm, and then take the shots downfield. And I hope this year you'll see more of that and less of him kind of reversing that philosophy.
Yeah.
And here's something that also backs that up, Harge. Mark Trestman says in this piece, I did not see quick answer hot options in the 5 games I watched when protections could not handle a +1 defender. It was up to Ewers to make a play in those few instances. Yeah, because I don't think Sark built in enough fail-safes with the quick game. What I always say, quick game, 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 quick game. If you build in enough quick game, 60% of all the throws in the NFL are 0 to 3-step drops. That means it's quick game.
Yep.
And I think Sark's offense is basically pro-style. One thing I think it lacks is enough more of the quick game. By the way, the RPO is just a different adaptation of the quick game. It's quick game plus run game. It could be either one of them. And he wants to run more RPOs too. So I think you'll have more RPOs this year, and you should have more quick game. But I want him to start with the quick game, not to infuse it into the game plan later. Start with it so your quarterback is in a rhythm earlier.
Ding, ding, ding.
Which he did in the Washington game.
He did.
He did,
which is why I think it was probably one of Quinn's best games. Obviously, the Oklahoma game was the best game, but when you watched him in that Washington game, he was making the right reads. He was actually looking at the right wide receivers during that time. It wasn't his fault that his guys weren't making plays, and that's when I finally saw him get pissed off on the sideline to the point that he was being more of a vocal leader and wanting his team to step it up.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't doing that before. Because remember, he would go to the sideline and wouldn't really say much. And then at the end of that game, at the end of the season, he decided, you know what? I'm going to have to start letting people know how I feel about this.
Yeah, and to that point, I think because Bijan, your best player and best leader, and Rojo, your best leader, were also gone, it was a void left.
And it
leadership.
was forced upon him to be that way.
Had to step up.
Yep.
Okay, getting back to the piece here, it also points out, it says mechanically, Ewers sometimes shows disciplined footwork from the shotgun on his 3 and 5 step drops. On these occasions, he has a strong athletic base and a short step transfer of weight from his back foot to his front foot towards his target before following through with a smooth and sudden release. With his nimble footwork and fluid hips, Ewers is capable of looking like the prototypical NFL pocket passer with elite mechanics. It can be easy to get excited because the ball appears to explode out of Ewers' right hand. While he can drive the ball when needed, he also has instinctively and easily changes ball speeds and trajectories, throwing a very catchable ball to all widths and depths of the field. Yeah, he's got great touch. He does have a really good touch for a quarterback. I'll give him that naturally.
He does.
But in this piece,
Mark and it leads the wide receivers in the right way, too.
Yeah, anticipatory. It's anticipatory
Throws
actions are really
spot.
good. Yes, he is. He also says, that said, these flashes are too far and few between. Overall, Ewers is inconsistent, which primarily stems from his freewheeling mechanics on short and deep passes. There are poorly located throws littered throughout his tape and passes thrown out of bounds where he doesn't give his intended receiver a chance to make a play. Even on some of his completions, Ewers has placement and accuracy issues, preventing receivers from maximizing the run after catch. And remember, Sark is all about run to daylight, his philosophy of getting receivers the ball on the move with movement routes. So the quarterback's got to be accurate, getting the ball on the money. He also said Ewers has unique and impressive ability to vary his arm slot, but he often does this unnecessarily. That can lead to inaccuracy and misses on easy throws, and almost feels like this is unintentional, like he releases the ball with whatever delivery he feels is natural at the time. Sometimes he looks like a second baseman trying to turn a double play. The problem is he'll do this even when he is free in the pocket and has the space to step up and complete a fundamentally sound throwing motion.
Yep. That's what I've been talking about for a long time. I'm like, I don't like the way he's letting go of the ball when he's lazy with his footwork. That's why it looks like a second baseman. That's why it's inaccurate at that time. He thought he could get away with it, especially when he was playing before. But now you can't get away with that because everybody else is like-minded. I mean, like athleticism. You're not the end-all, be-all at the quarterback position where you were in high school. Now you're playing against like athletes that are special. They're all trying to get to where you were. And now you're at the same level with them. So the game speed and everything else has changed.
No question. He says additionally, Ewers carries the ball a little low too often and outside his frame, which costs time in his delivery and could create some ball security issues. But he's really complimentary of Ewers. He goes on to say, when evaluating his poise and mental capabilities, Ewers appears advanced for a 20-year-old, but he still makes many mistakes for a typical young signal caller. As a decision maker, Ewers can quickly process and immediately get the ball out of his hands, though his decisions can be careless at times. Still, his quick processing ability will serve him well in the future. He's also impressed me with his poise under pressure, ability to read coverages, and flashes of high-level anticipatory throws. Within the pocket, Ewers has a natural ability to slide or step up and find quiet areas behind his protection to deliver. He inherently senses and escapes pressure with relative ease and is a dangerous playmaker with his arm outside of the pocket despite having only sufficient athleticism while on the move. Ewers will show good eye discipline and resourceful playmaking, sometimes leading to excellent it-factor plays. So he's pretty complimentary of him. He's critiquing some things, but considering the talent level and the inexperience of Quinn Ewers, I think the piece is pretty complimentary. He goes on to end it by saying, if Ewers can remedy his mechanical inconsistencies, he will become a more accurate and efficient passer. As quick-minded as he is and able to get the ball out from undisciplined positions, simply improving his staging and being more intentional with his arm slot unquestionably will lead to enhanced accuracy and placement.
Been saying it. As soon as he gets that footwork figured out, and you brought it up last year, you saying he can't do it during the season, but he can definitely work on it during the offseason. And I think he, too, realized that he failed in a bunch of different areas that were subpar to his standards for himself. So I believe that he's going to be just fine.
I do too. I think Quinn Ewers is going to take a huge step in the right direction. So I don't anticipate any regression by Texas this year or any underachievement being Quinn Ewers' fault or being, I believe, directed at him. But who knows? We obviously got high expectations for Texas, and a lot of that is on the shoulders of Quinn Ewers. If he plays well, plays at an all Big 12 level, all conference level, all American level, then Texas should be playing for a Big 12 title. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. All right, we got some NFL news notes and nuggets that we got to get to. Got a ton of NFL stories, so we'll just try to have kind of a smorgasbord of NFL topics coming up next in the next segment. Right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. We all love the great city of Austin. It's a beautiful city, thanks in no small part to the skilled craftsmanship of ironworkers, local Union 482. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935. They don't go to the office, they build it. You actually might be driving by one of the labors of their love right now and not even know it. And iconic landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And right now, our friends over at Ironworkers Local 482, they are looking to hire 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas. And if you are been frustrated with your work choices and maybe you want to change in your career path, you can become a valued member of this prestigious organization, Ironworkers Local Union 482, and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. You can accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. So reach out to them today at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie. It's a 512 Friday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when my man Jack plays jams from local bands and artists that you have a chance to see live in the ATX. Who are we jamming right now?
This is She-Verb. You can see them tomorrow at the Metropolis Pool.
She-Verb?
Yes, like
Okay.
reverb, but She-Verb. I actually
go.
think I worked with a member of this band when I worked at Torchy's Tacos when I was a teenager.
Nice. Okay, there you go.
So a little
personal
shout-out.
connection. There
That's
you go.
interesting right there.
And Jack, he's a well connected.
And before we get
go
into
ahead.
it real quick, I want to give a shout out to Lago Vista 8U All-Stars. They're having a big tournament, end of the year tournament. Our buddy Icky Ike, his
Ike.
kids are in that game. So good luck to those guys today.
Best of luck. Love my man Icky Ike, man.
Yeah.
Good people.
Yep.
Okay, let's get to a couple of NFL topics here. I've been meaning to address a couple of these NFL stories this week. The first one is about DeAndre Hopkins. Go, guys, I think we were right when we said he wasn't going to get any other offers, really. Looks like Diana Rossini is reporting that it's down to two teams, Patriots, Titans.
If you were him, what would your thought process be?
I don't know what he wants. I think he's just going to the
Not
highest bidder.
financial. Not financial.
I think that's
financial.
what I want for him. I think that's the top priority.
I understand, but
You saying
I'm not talking about
Take
financial.
the money out of it.
Yeah.
I would probably want to go. Oh, that is good. Bill O'Brien. How much does he like Bill O'Brien? Because he was once with Bill O'Brien, and then the
Got
Texans decided to
traded
trade
away.
him.
Yeah.
Allegedly, reportedly, Michael Irvin says because baby mama drama or whatever the hell it was. He wasn't. I don't know. A Texan didn't fit the culture that Jack Easterby wanted there. But I digress. He's gonna be back with him in New England. I'm gonna say Tennessee, just for the hell of it, because
He has zero quarterback help there.
you got
Well,
Will
I do
Levis.
like- I
You
like-
just drafted Will Levis, didn't
He had a terrible offseason.
you? Who, Will Levis?
He was awful in their OTAs, their mini camps.
Oh, what was he? Really?
Oh my gosh, he
terrible?
was so bad.
Why are they so bad at picking quarterbacks in Tennessee?
I have no idea. Going all
Malik
the way
Willis
back
was-
to Jake Locker.
Yeah, they're really bad at it.
Yes.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where he should go because I wouldn't want to go in New England, but at least because New England, listen, that division, there's an arms race happening right now in that
It is
division.
sick.
And
sick
the Miami
race.
Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills and I guess the Patriots now, they're going to throw their hat in the ring too. But, man, there's some firepower in that division. And I'm assuming that they just now they got the Jets, the Jets, Jets with Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to go and be the bottom feeder in that division, but I guess you could be that with Tennessee too.
I was just fixing to say. That's
Because Jacksonville's up.
Jacksonville's
Houston,
way up. Houston is creeping. We don't know what's going to happen. And then you also got to look at Indianapolis.
I think he thought there'd be other suitors.
I
think he thought there'd be more teams.
Don't we all?
Yeah, I think somebody overvalued their, their status. Maybe overvalued their skill set a little bit. Because I thought there'd be more teams in the DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes too. They're not.
Right.
Just two.
That's it. That's all that's there.
That's all that's there.
Yep.
A lot of buzz early, but no buzz right now. There's probably more buzz right now about Dalvin Cook and his situation. We talked about the arms race potentially going on in the AFC East. It looks like the Dalvin Cook sweepstakes is down to two AFC East teams. Diana Rossini also reporting it's the Miami Dolphins or the Jets, Jets. Oh,
Now this is the one that I'm sitting there thinking
sexy.
to myself, you can't go wrong with either one. And I don't believe that there's a wrong answer in this situation. Because if you look at Miami and you see exactly what this track team looks like.
that's for real.
You see Mike McDaniel's creativity in the offense. What is your quarterback going to be like? I heard Tua was watching film on his falls with the jiu-jitsu coach.
Hey, there you go.
So he's trying to figure out how to stop himself from just throwing his head back every
Maybe
single
he should
time.
be on the undercard.
Maybe he should. But then you also look at what's happening with the Jets and the talent that they're bringing in and what it would be like to play with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. You look at the young talent at the wide receiver position. The defense is a talented defense. So you do have a chance to be a winning organization. But whoever you choose, you got to make sure you're choosing the one that's going to win that division.
I'm choosing the Dolphins if I'm him. I'm taking Dolphins, guys. First of all, I want that Shanahan run game.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel's got the Shanahan run game. Who's your offensive coordinator with the Jets?
I don't even know.
No, it's his Hackett, right? No,
Yes, Paul. Yeah, it is
what's
Paul
his name?
Hackett.
No,
not Paul,
no,
but
Paul.
it is Hackett. Though.
What's his name? Nathaniel Hackett.
Nathaniel.
By the way,
Nathaniel.
Seriously,
Nathaniel.
we do call it Nathaniel Hackett. And my thing about Nathaniel Hackett is he's already on the record for saying basically it's going to be Aaron Rodgers' offense. And Aaron Rodgers he wins every veto, and what Aaron Rodgers wants, he's going to get. So it's Aaron Rodgers probably calling the plays. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers' offense.
Yep.
And if I am Dalvin Cook, I don't know if I want to play for Aaron Rodgers' offense. I want to go play for that Shanahan run game with Mike McDaniels there. And I know you got arguably the best wide receiving duo in the league. You got to double team both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I'll probably be the number one back there. The number one back in Jetland is going to be Breece Hall. I can probably be the number one back there in the Shanahan running game with receiving weapons that both must be double teamed, which means they can't stack the box against me.
Mm-hmm.
And I get Miami Beach over New York City. I'll take South Beach over New York City. Sorry if I'm Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, but Dalvin is from, you know what I'm saying?
And he's
Florida.
from, there you go. Boom, another check with that.
Yep.
Come on, no brainer here for Dalvin Cook, guys. No brainer.
Now, in this situation, does the money matter?
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know how much more money the Jets would have to offer, but I imagine he would give the Miami Dolphins a hometown discount
for sure,
he wants to go back home.
To be out the crib. Yeah.
Okay. I think he's gonna end up with Miami, but we'll see if the Jets get him. That's a hell of a coup.
Yeah,
New York J-E-T-E Jets.
J-E-T-E Jets. Honestly, I think Dalvin Cook could end. I'm picking Miami to win the division right now.
Okay.
But if Dalvin Cook goes to the Jets, I could waffle. But right now,
I was
I'm
going to
taking
say
Miami
you
to
got
win
the
division.
chance to change it later.
Listen, first of all, the Jets defense is a top 5 defense with Robert Saleh. That's a really good and they're going to get better, by the way, because they were young on that defense. They just need somebody to come run the offense. That's why they got Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett. The Miami Dolphins defense wasn't great, but they just brought in Vic Fangio, and they got Jalen Ramsey. They're making moves on defense. I don't know. I like what Miami's doing. I'm going to pick, and it's all about Tua staying healthy.
Yep.
And they got an insurance policy, Mike White, behind him now, just in case Tua misses a couple of games, which he will.
Yeah.
Texter, smart texter. Florida tax benefits over New York.
Yep.
Ding, ding, ding. I love that texter. There you go. This texter knows about tax avoidance. We do not promote tax evasion. That's illegal. We do promote tax avoidance.
There you go.
Avoid as many of them taxes as you can. Just don't evade them.
Don't run from them.
Don't run from them.
Don't run from them.
We can avoid them like Barry Sanders. Avoid defenders. But you cannot evade them. All right? That's what Uncle Sam don't like that. All right. That's so. Also, since we're talking about running back here, I did see their Pro Football Focus had their running back rankings, like positional group running back rankings. Because I wanted to see where the Cowboys were in this group. Because I was like, man, I wonder if the Cowboys running back room is really low in these rankings. By the way, 49ers number 1 on this list, and the Falcons number 2.
Yeah.
They're saying basically the Falcons got the second best running room in the NFL with Bijan now added to the mix, Tyler Algier and Cordero Patterson. So they like that group. They got the Cowboys 10th best running back room in the NFL. And I'm not going to lie, I think that's too high.
I agree.
That's way too high.
We still don't know unless everybody else is just terrible.
Bro, they got the Dallas Cowboys running back room ahead of the Texans. I think the Texans running back room right now might be just as good as the Cowboys. I'm not room overall. Tony Pollard is better. But, hell, they got the Seattle Seahawks behind the Cowboys. They got Baltimore behind the Cowboys.
And I like Seattle's running back room way better than I do right now for the Cowboys.
Me too. I'm with you on that one. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they're ranking. They're really high on Tony Pollard, I guess. But after that.
But, I mean, goodness gracious. That high on them to where you going to rank them that number?
They got him a top 10 running back room. And I vehemently disagree with the Pro Football Focus rankings here. I'm serious.
Goes back to my point. Sometimes they good. Sometimes they bad.
Yeah. This one's pretty bad. Not going to lie. I think that one's pretty bad. They got the Texans at 12th, though, on this list. So shout out to the Texans.
I think the Texans could probably be better, too.
I agree with Dameon Pierce, who was arguably the best rookie out there. I think he was tied with the Walker's second, like the rushing grade for rookies among Pro Football Focus. And they got Devin Singletary as a free agent.
Yeah.
That's a guy they picked up from the
I like
Bills,
Singletary a lot.
Yeah, he's a decent player too. So,
Yep.
I don't know. That was shocking me. The running back room for the Cowboys was that high. And you sent an interesting article from CBS Sports. Speaking of the Cowboys running back room, that basically talked about players who are in a position to have career years. They have these, I don't know, just career years, like their best year ever. They took Tony Pollard on this list. And I agree with that because if the Cowboys are going to run the rock, I mean, he's the guy. They're going to run the rock. He's going to be their marquee bell cow running back.
Yep.
The only reason I would be a little hesitant to put him on the list would be the health.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to come back 100%, but if he comes back and he's ahead of schedule, Tony Pollard is one of the most explosive running backs in the league. He proved that last year.
Well, here's the deal, and I agree with you to this point. From what we were told before, he is a guy, I hope his conditioning is at a higher place because of the fact of he would basically run 60 yards and be done for the rest of the day. You know, if he has an explosive play, he hasn't been able to rebound. So this is going to be a major part of the success that he is going to have. Is he going to be that every down back? And I don't know if he's going to be able to. I mean, we know he can catch it and get into the open field.
Yeah, he averaged almost 6 yards per touch last year. The issue would be, because remember, I forgot the running backs coach that was with the Cowboys last, Skip Peete.
Skip Peete, that's the one.
And Skip Peete said, you don't want him to be your every down back. You don't want him to be your workhorse bell cow running back because he won't be as explosive. When you wear him down like that, it takes away from the explosivity. So you definitely need somebody to help shoulder that burden, that load, just to keep his explosivity at a high level.
We're ranked number 10, man. We got somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Basically, Skip Peete was just saying, like, you have sedans that can, you can wear them down and they can go all day, every day, and you have kind of race cars. And he said Tony Pollard's a race car. He said, yeah, you can go from 0 to 100 in a couple of seconds with that race car, and you can hit those big blockbuster, chunk yardage plays. But he also says he's going to run out of gas real quick. Those sports cars run out of gas fast and quick. They burn through it. That sedan, hey, man, that's good. You get good mileage on that thing. All right, get gas mileage on that thing, and they need one of those guys. They don't have one of those guys.
We need somebody that can ride on cruise control and
Pretty
still
much,
be efficient.
Yeah. We need somebody that's going to give me some good mileage,
Exactly.
On the roads. And I don't know if Tony Pollard is that guy. And I don't think I want him to be that guy. I like what he has become for the Cowboys.
Exactly, and that's why it was crazy when you started thinking about how are you going to flip it to where you don't have Zeke Elliott, and that's fine from what everything has been going on. But when you look at how the rest of it happens, how are you going to be put in that position? That's the thing. Like, what is going to be your alternate plan? Because we've all talked about the two-back offense. Where is this going to fall into place for the Cowboys?
I wonder. They seem to be high on Deuce Vaughn, and they seem to be high on Malik Davis, I believe is his name. Hey, Cowboys, 4 words. We like our guys.
We like our guys.
They were right last year. Yeah. They liked their guys last year. They were right. Hopefully they're right about that again this year.
No doubt.
All right, we come back. We'll wrap it up, put it in the oven, let you know what's on tap for the weekend right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Getting ready to wrap it up and put it in the oven. Before we do, we'll let you know what's on tap. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page. Before we let you know what's on tap, I do want to take this time to say thank you to my man, Jack. Jack, you were awesome, brother, this week. You were fantastic, man. You are the man.
Yeah, I'm glad, man. You were good, brother.
You really were. Patrick was all out on vacation all week long, and Jack stood in for him in his stead and did a fantastic job, man. Everything went seamless and loved it. Thought you were fantastic, so kudos, brother.
I really appreciate that. I've had a ton of fun hanging out with you guys this week.
Yeah, you did a great job, man.
Anytime Patrick's out, got to recommend my man Jack.
No doubt.
Come in and be the substitute in the meantime. But we appreciate that. You can reach out to him via Twitter. Show him some love at Jack A. Farrell. That is like Colin, not like Will.
There it is.
Don't
Boom.
forget that.
Boom.
All right, what's on tap for you, Harge? Because you're about to go on vacation.
He is gone. He is gone, man. Now I'm going to go home, have some dinner, get ourselves ready to go, and then, boom, hit the road and get that trip to North Carolina.
Hold on, y'all driving?
No, negative. Negative.
You said hit the road. I was like, hit the road.
Yeah, hit the road to the airport. Hit the road to the airport.
I was say the guy that valets everywhere he goes.
I'll be valeting there too at the airport too.
Exactly. Ain't no way you driving there. That would be fun though. You guys going to North Carolina, and you guys going for a soccer tournament. So best of luck in the soccer tournament. Hope y'all do well. All right, Jack, what's on tap for you this weekend, brother?
Got a pretty light weekend. I'll be back in for the Sunday shows with my man Wags in the morning.
That's right. Oh, tell Wags I said what's up, man. Tell Wags I love Wags. Wags will be my producer. He's
got
awesome.
Astros tonight, 9 p.m. after dark out on the West Coast. Otherwise, I'm going to see what's on tap maybe in my fridge. At a good loose
That's
Friday
what's on tap. Nate gives you a shout out. Jack said Jack was great. No, Jack,
thanks,
you really
Nate.
were, man. No doubt. It wasn't hyperbole, man.
No,
I was really, really
100%.
happy about how much you brought to the show.
No
Great
doubt.
NBA knowledge. Love the musical knowledge too. Thought you did a great job. So Patrick, once again, he knew who would be able to pick up the slack when he was out, and it was just my man Jack. Tonight I'm gonna start. You guys ever heard of the show The Bear on Hulu?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The cooking, the show about chefs,
yes.
not a cooking show.
Yeah, it's about a chef. I watched the first season, and they got the second season out, so I'm going to watch the entire second season of The Bear probably this weekend. Going to binge it, have some fun.
I think you are a binger.
I am a binger.
Yeah.
But you just told me you're going to watch John Wick.
I'm going to watch John Wick
All
on the
of
flight tomorrow. I am.
And I'm going to be
watch
binging Cam Whitmore highlights.
I like that too. I'm gonna be binging some shows, but also next week, of course, Harge are gonna be out. My man Patrick will be back.
That's
right.
right.
We'll still have,
and you will
most
have
of the
a
crew.
lot of fun talking with him about Wemby because he been out there partying.
And I think, now I wish Jack was staying. Jack's a Rockets fan. I got to hear Patrick brag about the Spurs for a whole week. All right, we'll be back on Monday, same time, same channel. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We'll be talking about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourselves, but more importantly, take care of each other. Peace.